right, how's it going, y'all? How's it going? Can y'all hear me loud and clear? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. Sounds good. Welcome to the chat freeze, man. Kenny, welcome back. Let me see, how do you say that? Serenas? Not sure how to pronounce that. I would love to know how to pronounce that name. Just Meyer, welcome to the chat. Jai, welcome back. You're going to be the first up tonight. So I'm about to send you the collaboration link. Now, I did do some things in the background, so hopefully the collab cam will work without any issues, but if not, of course, we'll do Discord. So everything will be all right. VDR, welcome back to the chat. Glad to see you here again. Hasim, my man, welcome back. Welcome back. Always good to see your name in the chat. Okay. We're going to take a couple of minutes for people to get back in here, and then we'll start it up. So bear with me for about 3 minutes to let people trickle in here, and then we'll get started. But if y'all have any questions in the meantime, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and I can just answer them before we start. Niece, welcome to the chat. Glad to have you here. And then the title of this portfolio critique is Always Reach Out. I talked about that the last live stream, but if you do not have a path to go towards and you know which path you want to go down, always reach out. Look at your favorite studios and then find someone that is doing the job that you want to do in the future. Reach out to them. Say, hey, my name is so-and-so. I'm really interested in pursuing this career path. And, I wanted to pick your brain sometime if you had 10 to 15 minutes. Looking forward to hearing back and then seeing where that goes. And do that for multiple people with multiple companies that you would like to work at. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to advocate for you like yourself. And you have to put yourself out on the limb, risk rejection, and then send that message and then see if they respond back. Some of the best advice that you'll ever get in the industry is from the people that are doing the job that you want to do in the future. So always, always, always make sure you reach out. It's terrifying. It's scary. You're fearing rejection. I know, but it'll help you in the long run. And then maybe you'll actually get a semi-mentor along the way that can teach you the software, the skills, the techniques, the fundamentals, everything that you need to know to make sure that you can be the best candidate possible. And your life is going to go a lot easier for that. Okay. And VDR said, how do you prefer we request a chance for being in the next stream and have our CV portfolio critiqued? So typically what I do now is that I just have you message me on LinkedIn during these things, and then I'll get to it if I can. So today we have Jai, and then we have Matt if he's here in the building today. But if you want your CV and portfolio critique, go ahead and reach out to me on LinkedIn right now so I can get you in the queue. Okay? Then I'll continue the background music for right now. Yeah, Justin, go ahead and send me actually, I can just click on your LinkedIn profile. So if your LinkedIn profile has your portfolio link to it, then I can add you to the queue. So let me go ahead and get out my sticky notes. And so we have Jai down here. Then we have Justin. guessing some of y'all are sending me network invitations. Sari, thanks for the subscription. Can't talk today. Okay. Okay, cool. Matt, no problem. Go ahead and get that portfolio dealt with, and then on one of the next streams, go ahead and reach back out to me. And then we'll get you taken care of. Okay. And then Vasco, I got you down. Okay, and then Kenny. Okay, here we go. I see you. Okay, 1 second. I'm writing down the list order right now. Okay, so Anise will be the last person that's going to get reviewed today. That's going to bring our roster up to 5 reviews today. So that's going to be plenty enough. That's going to last around 2 hours, and I'm going to go a little bit quicker today. Hopefully, Collab Cam doesn't give me any flack today, so we can go a little bit more smoothly. So Anise, I hope I'm saying that right. Anise, I'll be waiting for that message from you. Okay, let's go ahead and start up the collab cam, see if it works. Okay, and Jai, I just sent you the Streamlabs link, so go ahead and get that set up. And in the meantime, if anybody does have any more questions about anything portfolio related, resume related, or profile related, just go ahead and put that in the chat, and then I'll get to it. And then if y'all haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Spread the word. Helps the algorithm spread my message to more people on YouTube. So that'd be greatly appreciated. And then thanks so many of y'all for being here on short notice. I know I put this post up pretty late. I overslept this morning, didn't mean to, but was up late last night doing some things. So. Okay, Jai, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, I can hear you too. Nice.
Perfect. Wow.
Okay. Just worked the first time. Love it.
I hope everybody can hear me in the video though.
Yeah, can everybody hear him? And then am I pronouncing your name right? Is that Jai?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, cool. People pronounce my name wrong all the time. Like, my name is Ty Vic, but people call me Tyrig, Tyren, Tyreek. Where did the R come from? Don't know. So I always try to make sure that I say somebody's name correctly.
Appreciate it, man. Tywick, I appreciate it.
Of course. Okay,
Thank you so much
Anise.
for doing this. I mean, there are very few people out there I know who are actively reaching out to people who want to enter into the industry. So it's a very good initiative, I must say.
Oh, not a problem at all. I love doing it. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that it took me a year after graduation to actually find a job. During that time, I was in darkness, pseudo depression, felt like a failure. So I've been through that whole type of trying to find a job situation, feeling like, your skills are worthless and like you don't belong. So I try to give back, help people out so they don't have to go through that year-long stint that I did, because it's not fun. So
True. I mean, yeah. The market is pretty in a rough spot right now, but you're doing it, you're doing your best, and that's what gives me hope in the industry that, hey, I mean, everything's not gone down to the drain, to be honest.
Well, I'm glad I can inspire in that way. Okay, let's get to you. Okay, so you know how it goes. So before we start, introduce yourself. Tell me what type of goal that you're going for, and then tell me, what's been going on with you recently.
Oh, yeah, sure. Hi everyone. So, my name is Jay Dodechani. I'm a game designer. I recently graduated with my master's from University of California, Santa Cruz. Um, this was early this year, and since then I've been looking for full-time opportunities as a game designer in the industry. Also dabbling with a lot of QA, as I've heard designers usually have QA as a good starting point to enter into the industry. That being said, it has been pretty rough. I have bombed a few interviews recently, which I'm still having a hard time recovering from. But with the holiday break, I'm trying to churn up a few projects, just be ready for the 2024 string to come in.
Okay. Then, if you don't mind me asking, how do you think that you bombed the interviews? Because we can go over that as well.
Ah, that's a question that I did ask myself. Funny story of the interview was an hour long, scheduled an hour long, went an hour and a half, which I thought worked in my favor. But as soon as I went for a shower just after the interview, 15 minutes after the interview, I realized I bombed it because I let my nerves get the best of me, and in that sort of excitement, in that rush of I want to be portraying myself as a designer, I just kind of couldn't handle my nerves and went defensive and went, is what they say, like you're on to the next before you take time to process the question, some sort of situation.
Okay. Okay, remind me to go over that after I go through
For
your
sure, yeah.
PPR because I feel like there's some lessons there that people can learn on this. Okay, so you're a game designer. As we know, that is a large umbrella. So, what under the game designer umbrella is your focal point?
Um, that's a tough question to answer. But for me, I really enjoy working with the early stages of game design, so creating mechanics and systems,
Okay.
and developing worlds where the player is playing. So it's like the conceptual stages of where the game design is. And I know that is a pretty niche as a concept, and there are very few games that are released year over year, and there are a lot of games that are, supported as a live Steam. So just taking what there is and then adding a few elements of new mechanics or creating supporting systems that create engaging gameplay for newer modes or newer gameplay experiences for the players.
Okay.
Does that answer it?
Slightly. I still have questions.
Uh,
So
okay,
you
sure.
said so you said it's niche and then that you like to conceptually design things.
Yes.
So as far as you said you like to develop like modes. So does that mean like game modes and systems
Yes.
that the player can partake in, such as like I don't know,
Yes.
progression systems and leveling up and items, weapons?
Exactly. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and then what about like or more combat design focus, such as like the moment to moment gameplay of what the player is doing?
Yeah, I mean, I moment to moment is so I took even more as an umbrella term of game design of creating mechanics, so that kind of for me encapsulates the moment to moment gameplay of what a player does in the first 30 seconds and then 1 minute, and then designing the code loop accordingly. So as a designer, I feel I relate mostly to creating code loops,
Okay.
and that code loop comes closer to like 30 seconds of fun to 1 hour of fun and everything in between.
Okay, cool. So it seems like you want to go more towards the system designer side.
I mean,
Because
yeah, I mean, yeah.
that's what it sounds like. You want to develop core loops. Core loops within the
Yeah.
gameplay is very much system design based. And really,
Okay.
when it comes to games and people showing their prototypes online, everybody likes combat. Everybody wants to do combat, make moment to moment gameplay. But if you get into these worlds, systems design is what makes the world come alive. It is what establishes the core loop. So if you talk about Assassin's Creed and Dragon's Dogma, which is my favorite game, where you can go on quest and you can earn currency and get raw materials to craft weapons and items and upgrade those items with progression systems. All of that is systems design. And that is what breathes the life into a project. And there's not a lot of system designers out there who are very associate level or who have an interest in associate level things. So I'm glad you're going this route because it's very much needed in the gaming space. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy doing that. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it says you're a game designer at Alt Labs or Alt Games Labs, and then award-winning game designer. What awards have you won?
So I won a national award for my board game back in India. It's a national award for my game Gurukula. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. And then crafting engaging gameplay experiences. You can get rid of this.
Okay.
This these type of things are flavor text, and it's great to know what you do, but you don't need to put that in your title. And
Okay.
then every game designer is trying to craft engaging gameplay experiences. So
Interesting.
if it's something
Sure.
more unique towards you, then you can put it right there. But this is very like generalized
Gotcha.
or universal, I'd say.
Fair enough.
Okay, the 500 connections, love it. Okay. Experienced and detail oriented game designer with a strong background in designing and delivering games on various platforms. It's great. I'm a player centric developer focused on moment to moment gameplay. My passion lies in designing and balancing mechanics, systems, and levels to create engaging and immersive experiences. Proven ability to communicate design intentions effectively, prioritize tasks, and analyze playtest data. Okay. Seeking a creative and challenging platform to contribute, learn, and grow. Okay, what platforms have you worked on so far?
Um, for mobile, consoles, PC, VR, and board games. I mean, considering board games as a platform.
Okay, cool. I would explicitly say that because that's something that a lot
Okay.
of people don't have. So I
Sure.
would, various platforms and then in parentheses, PC, mobile, VR, etc. Because that's awesome.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm a player centric developer focused on moment to moment gameplay. This is a universal statement that anybody can have. So, what unique abilities for moment to moment gameplay can you bring to the table? And then, my passion lies in designing and balancing mechanics. Okay, systems. Yep, you even got systems right here. Systems designer. And levels to create engaging and immersive experiences. Okay, probably elaborate on what you mean by levels, because when I read this, it seems like okay, you like to design mechanics, systems, those kind of go hand in hand. Those are one of the same. And then levels. What does levels mean? Does that mean that you're a pseudo level designer? I'm not really for sure what this is supposed to
Interesting.
say.
Sure. Just to help you, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna help at this moment, but just like as by
Mm-hmm.
levels, it's like utilizing mechanics and systems, creating a small level world where players can,
Mm-hmm.
have their own fun. So it's like I have the pseudo level design experience where I can create little worlds where players can execute mechanics and understand what the systems are, what systems they are dealing with. That sort of situation.
Okay. So I guess one way that you can spin that is you can say that I want to approach system design by being able to I want to harmonize my systems design with level or content and level design to create immersive experiences, because systems design relies heavily on working with content, so those systems can actually be in place inside of the world. So some type of relationship between what you do and then using your level design skills to make content, or switch it up in a way where it's like, okay, well, I have content design, or I'm utilizing my systems design skills or incorporating my systems design skills within the levels and the content to make an immersive experience.
Gotcha. Making a note of it.
Okay. And then while you do that, while we're going through here, chat, I want you all to know that you all can still ask questions, or if you all have any feedback for Jai himself. I'm not the only one here that knows things and is knowledgeable. So please be interactive in the chat, so that way we can all share the knowledge and learn something. Or if you have any questions along the way, please do ask them. Okay. So yeah, overall in this statement, this is good. It can be a little bit more specific, so that way it really shines. And then do make this seem like you're a badass. Like, this is you. This is what people are going to see when they first come into your profile. So, be very confident and proud of, what you want to do. And one thing that I would do if you really do want to go the system designer route is to change your title to system designer and then go in on that. And then just because you put your title as system designer doesn't mean that if a position pops up and it says game designer that you're not going to be able to apply for that.
Interesting. I've usually heard something like the title should be very much close to what you're going for, and game designer usually has a more of an umbrella term.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was like headed into the game design system since different studios have like different size studios a lot like provide you opportunities to wear multiple hats. Like AAA is something that asks for a lot of specialization,
Mm-hmm.
where if you go something like mobile platforms or a little bit indie or smaller studios where system design might not be an actual position that they're hiring for, but it's more generalized where it's game designer. And
Okay.
uh, to be honest, it's something that I really am target like keeping my options open with those studios as well, because I really like to wear multiple hats and be that gel in that system.
Okay. Well, we'll focus on making sure that you still have that scope that you want, since
Yep.
you've worked with multiple platforms, but then you can cater your portfolio and your resume to a system designer by using the words that a system
Okay.
designer would use. And then
Gotcha.
VDR said, I'm mostly just envious that Jai has 500 plus connections. He said, I just started that climb, but mine is still a ways off. So yeah, 500 connections look really good.
Just a small help, VDR. It's a holiday time and people are a lot more open to responding LinkedIn connections. So keep that up. This is the month.
Mm. Okay, introducing Dippy and Chippy, a two-player on a single controller. Huh. Okay, one thing that I would do here, if you can, is to upload the video actually to LinkedIn. And what that's gonna do, I don't know if you
Okay.
know, but if you link a YouTube video directly into LinkedIn, LinkedIn will not share your post as much. You'll not get as many impressions. But
Hmm.
if you upload your video directly to LinkedIn, it's staying in the platform, so LinkedIn is more likely to share your content with other people.
Gotcha. Oh, that's a very algorithmic thing. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that.
And then as well, if I'm a recruiter, I click on this, I'm digging the thumbnail, and then I'm like, okay, well, I have to click to an external site. I'm going to YouTube. I might get distracted by something. So it's best to keep everything as close to you as possible, or as in direct contact with you as possible, all on
Makes
one
sense.
site. Okay, game designer. Alt Labs, Alt Games Lab. Okay, so you're kind of doing the resume thing down here as well. So I would just do this up here as you keep on going along. You've been there for, you've been doing that for like 4 months. So not sure how much you've had so far, but it's always nice to kind of get a little taste of what you're doing at each of these, at least like 3 bullet points.
Sure.
Okay. Assist the lead game designer in creating and maintaining game design documents, design, balance, and fine-tuning systems to intricately enhance the gameplay experience. Liaise with producers, developers, and artists to effectively communicate design intentions, ensuring a seamless collaboration in a multidisciplinary team. Guide brainstorming sessions, emphasizing alignment with game pillars, resulting in effective feature prioritization and deliverables. Okay. Tell me, I don't doubt that you did all of this stuff, but tell me
Hmm.
the, you have to relate all of these to what you want to go for. So in all
Okay.
of these, I should be like, what game designer things are you making? Like you're telling me that you're going to these meetings and you're doing this, but what systems are you working with? If it's under NDA, at least tell me in what type of area your expertise is being utilized, because reading this, I have no idea what you're doing at this company.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So let me just try to do this off the top of my head.
Hmm.
So when you say something about giving a hint, it is under NDA, but when you say something about giving a hint to what it was, does it help if I say like social systems or um, reward systems, progression systems that keep the player engaged over time, or something along those lines, or like first time user experience?
That's a great question, and yes. And then this, The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer. I did work on the multiplayer at Naughty Dog,
Hmm.
and I couldn't really disclose what I was working on. So I, this is my roles and ownerships on this page. And then I kind of went over what I was doing. So I was like, I was doing, traversal stuff, item strategies, resource management, dynamic interactions, a little bit of player combat, player interactables, game modes, and then made some development tools to reduce the environment team's time down from 4 hours down to 30 minutes.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that tells you nothing of what we were working on, but it tells you what areas that I was working on.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Hmm. Because one of the terrible things about being in the game industry is that
Hmm.
NDAs, you really can't show the work if the product doesn't come out, and effectively the product doesn't exist unless it comes out, and we're having like year development cycles, 2 year development cycles. And so that's the rough part about being in the game industry, is that you don't always get to show your work, but you do have to learn how to talk around it.
Yes, definitely learning that.
Okay, solo led on developing a new IP from scratch, designing games and being a part of ideation to publishing. Okay, so there seems to be a theme here. So you're telling me
Hmm.
what you did from a surface level, but I need details.
Details.
Yeah.
Just like I would like to request another example, because it comes directly in contrast with giving too much information or making it a lot more word heavy or
Mm-hmm.
dense. So if just another one of your examples where bullet points are concise as well as gives highlight into what you did and showcases your work.
Mm-hmm. As far as being under the NDA, right? Or
Yes.
okay, so these
I
bullet
mean, I
points.
mean, either both of them would be better. Like something that is under the NDA and something that is just published outside. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
bullet points are fine
Oh. Hmm.
because we're just trying to get across what we actually did. This I just decided to do this so you can get some more detail, but this is really what you need to be focusing on. So, designing and scripting new player mechanics while working closely with animators, programmers, and other designers to achieve a high fidelity game feel and player feedback. That sounds exactly like what you were doing. I just gave a little bit more information here as to what I was doing, and I just said player mechanics. And
Okay.
then I'm working closely with animators, programmers, and other designers. Specifics: creating and iterating in-game items to add new gameplay features, and content to encourage more dynamic ways to interact with combat. Okay, I know it's centered around combat.
Ah, okay. I'm getting.
Okay. And then Arthur asks, does that apply even when the game is already launched? So Arthur, you have to ask the company that you worked at how much you can display or how much you can take ownership of. I know that companies that I've worked at in the past, um, or I'll just say Call of Duty, they have a thing where they like everybody to get the credit, and they don't like necessarily anyone to try to have complete ownership over a project that they've done. So I'm guessing in the past, let's say 12 people have worked on a project, and then that one person acts like they did all of that themselves, and then that takes, I guess, glory away from the company and the people that worked on that as well. So you really have to ask your company, like, how much info can I put out there? This product is released. I want to use it in my portfolio so I can, look for, more jobs or present my work later down the line. So there's rules and regulations with every company. Some companies are like, yeah, sure, share it. Some other companies are like, okay, well, do it and then send it to us so we can review it, we can give you feedback, and then you can make it public. So, and I know that some people also like to lock content behind a password so that way it's not public, but recruiters can see it. I'm not sure the ethics of that or anything. So results may vary on that. 1 second. Hey, I'm on stream right now. Yeah. Okay, good. That's real good news. All right. Okay, I'll talk to you after this. All right, apologies about that. Okay, so Arthur, I hope that answered your question. And then does that answer your question, Jai, about how to properly, I guess, advocate for yourself?
Yes, it talks about specifics and details on bullet points. Noted.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's go to your portfolio. Okay, I'm gonna give you my first reaction. There's a lot of things going on when I first pop up here. So you
Mm-hmm.
have game designer, level designer, sports enthusiast, and gym music discoverer. You have your name right here in bold text, and you have all of these things. This GIF is competing with the attention for this up here. This thumbnail
Okay.
looks cool. I It's a lot going on. So I
Sure.
would say your portfolio is to sell your skills. Think of yourself as a product. You want to make sure whoever views your website knows immediately what you're trying to sell. So right now, I see you. Obviously, you're trying to sell yourself. So that's great. But you sell yourself through the projects that you've made. And so when I get here, I would expect to see something like this. That's what I want to see. So you have the header up here, you have your initials, which spell out your full name on this side over here. And then you have your portfolio, contact, and about. That's great. And then portfolio right here. This is what I want to see when I get here is what work you've done.
Okay.
This can be in your about section. Then it seems like your about section already has a picture of you, a short summary. So maybe you don't really need that at all.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm. You can keep the blurb right here. A game designer who prioritizes playtesting, exploration, and prototyping to bring ideas to life. I am a vision keeper, a team player, and a valuable asset for all things game design. You can do that. I do think that you should just remove this picture, transfer your name right here up to the corner,
Okay.
and then have this little blurb in the center if you want to. I would go ahead and put game designer up in the navigation bar as well, maybe next to your name. So I go back to mine, Tyvik Starworth, game designer. Everything else other than that is portfolio. Recruiters are here to check out your work, not look at pictures of you.
Okay.
And then in the gym music discoverer, sports enthusiast, that's great. Put that in the about section. Recruiters love to see the personality of people. So it would be awesome if you had all of that stuff over here. You can even have pictures of your favorite team or whatever you want, because this page is all about you. This is where you want to put that stuff.
Right.
And then Justin said that when he first got to your portfolio page, he said the GIF caught my eye instantly before I even seen your name in the big bold text. So
Interesting. Thanks for
GIFs
that.
are a powerful eye attractor. And then I do talk about this. If you're going to have a large amount of text on the screen, so let's go back to your about section. If you're going to have a large amount of text on the screen, I would recommend that you have a column in the center instead of having your website go out to the edges of the screen, because it's a little bit easier to read. So let's see, if I go to Warzone, you'll see that my text is centered, and then I don't have to read all the way over here, all the way to there. It's a design choice. You can have the edges if you want to, but if you're having somebody read a large amount of text, it's best to have that centered in a column on the screen.
Perfect.
And then you'll see that on a lot of blog sites like Gama Sutra, 80 dot level, they have a column in the center because a lot of text, and it keeps the eye in the middle of the screen. Okay. So great photo, beautiful mountains in the background. Okay, soft skills, team leader, team builder, technical prowess. I want to know about the technical prowess before I know about the soft skills. So it seems like you have leadership. Incorporate that into the way that you describe yourself in your portfolio, which will be great. But really boost up your hard skills.
Okay.
Okay, one stop for all things game design. I would consider modifying that tagline, because one stop for all
Okay.
things game design is too broad. Of
Yep.
course, you have experience doing many things, but you want to kind of press that in a little bit to where that's a little bit more specific.
Okay.
Okay, and then I am
Yeah, the
hearing
theme
talking in
over
the
here is all about.
background. I am hearing talking
Oh,
in the
I'm so sorry.
background, so if you can mute your mic while you're
Um,
not talking, that would be great too.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. And then VDR said, I'd say most times simplicity in design is best, as it makes it easier for those looking at your work to find it, be able to focus on it, and spend less time looking for it. Very true. Okay, the short summary. Unleash the power of your game ideas with me, a unique and experienced game designer from India with a combination of programming abilities, people skills, and public speaking prowess. I'm able to effectively communicate my ideas and collaborate with team members. My passion for learning and experimenting with different games drives me to analyze, learn, and create innovative and globally appealing games for various platforms. Join me on a journey to deliver holistic and engaging gameplay experiences. I am a competitive individual when it comes to the sports and board games. I love long walks through the city while listening to new music. Great. Okay. Now, are you able to work in the U.S.?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I, in here, just because this could be like very, very critical, because I know that recruiters have a hard time with people who are or international hires because they don't have their work visa. So you make sure that any type of wording that you use doesn't make it seem like you're still in India or you can't work in the US.
Does that give that impression to you when you first read it?
It gives it
I
to
mean,
me. I
okay.
seen on your profile earlier where you're in the States, but just in case something doesn't connect, then you want to make sure that you're very clear that hey, I can work in the US.
Gotcha. Making a note of it. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then we got about 5 minutes. I'm gonna look at your resume real quick. Let me get the next person. I always spend a little bit longer on the first person on here. And so contact, it just scrolls down to the bottom. It's not a separate page. Go ahead and have about and contact in the same bar. So if you go up to mine, about and contact, same button. Okay, then let's click on one of these. I would make static thumbnails for each of these so one project doesn't overshine the other ones. This GIF takes all the glory away from everything else, and then this one as well. So either you do them all in GIFs, which is going to be it's going to attract too much attention. So have the thumbnails. I like this thumbnail right here for the Dippy and Chippy, and then you can have that GIF in the actual page.
Understood. Okay.
And then for all of this, I just need to know the name of the project, a little blurb about it, about what role you fulfilled on this project, and then that's it. You don't need to describe anything. You need to keep your descriptions for inside of the page itself. So if we go to mine, these are more well-known titles. So maybe you see I have a little description right here, pushing the limits of Warzone Universe one day at a time. Nakatomi Rambo, Power Grab, what's next? Little blurb. You click on it, and then that's where I give you the overview of it. But you don't need the overview of your project right here. You can wait until they click on that, and then you can give the overview right here, which you have.
Interesting. So if I was, I'm so sorry. So if I'm hearing this correctly, on the portfolio page where all the projects are laid out, it's better to have what my contributions are mm, as along with the roles that I performed on that project and have the project's info in its separate page, right?
Yeah, so you should have the name, which you do, Dippy and Chippy,
Mhm.
and then you should have what role you had on that. Now, if you're trying to break into something, creative lead and producer, well, yeah, I kind of lost. If I'm scrolling down here, I lost what you're calling yourself. So up here, game designer, level designer, I scroll down, I forget what you're trying to market yourself as. I go down here, Dippy and Chippy. Okay, all of this text I'm probably not going to read. It's two players co-op. Its character is ogre. I can learn about that in the page itself. I don't need that. Creative lead and producer. Wait a minute. What was he? He was a game designer, level designer. Why is he marketing himself as a creative lead and a producer? And so you have to, well, you can be a creative lead. That's fine. Talk about it inside of the page itself, but make sure you're consistent with what type of role you're marketing yourself
Mm,
as.
gotcha.
And then Arthur said it gives an impression of being a lot of information in one page, which, yes,
Hmm.
you want them to, you have to guide them through your portfolio. So with mine, I have thumbnails. I have the title. You can scroll over them. Some flavor text pops up. And then I don't want them to stay on this page. I want them to get into my project pages as fast as possible so I can advocate for myself in the best way that I can, and I actually have the space to do that. You don't have the space to
Hmm.
advocate for any individual product or project that you've worked on if they're all on the same page. So this is
Hmm.
just a portal to get them to where I can explain why I'm a badass and why they should hire me.
Interesting. Yes.
Okay. Okay, join forces with your best friend. You have the roles creative lead, game producer, system designer. Marketing yourself is too many things. Pick
Hmm.
one, and then you can have a skill section where, let me see, game producer, system designer, combat designer, level designer. Yeah, you have to pick one. And then you can describe
Okay.
all the other roles that you've done in the description of what you've done or showcasing what you've actually done on the project. It's awesome that it's on
Okay.
Steam. And then all of this, I'm not going to read all these images. I get it. I see it. In the age where we have TikToks and YouTube shorts and attention span is
Hmm.
valuable, use your gifs. Like I get down here, this gif, I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm interested. Now I see what the gameplay is like. Show me the gameplay and then tell me about the gameplay. And then that's how you want the sequence to go. Yeah,
Interesting.
I
Okay.
don't have
So,
any type of reference for what this means because I haven't necessarily seen the gameplay yet until I get down here.
yes. Okay. That helps.
And then this photo right here is awesome. Them playing on the same controller, that's great. Show me that at the top because this is the essence of your game. This is what it is. Show it off, then explain it.
Okay.
And then overall, I found a portfolio. I always use this man's portfolio, but he's a combat designer, enemy designer, but he gives a really great breakdown and flow to how he describes things. So he has video, he has text, and GIFs all in one. So I'm going to send you that on LinkedIn so that you can go check that out. And then you can see that he used a little bit of the structure of my portfolio as well. I have talked to him. He's very organized with his information, and so he'll be a good reference for you to see how to structure information. Okay,
Got
and
it.
then
Thanks.
then let's get to your resume, and then you sent that to me through LinkedIn. Can
Yes.
we get a link in the chat, please? Yes, you can. There we go. Okay. Open that file. What is it? Ad block? Not right now. Okay. So the first thing that sticks out to me is this is a lot of text on one thing. The text is a little
Oh,
bit too
okay.
small. So I like the format of it. It's good. It's just the text is too small. I'm sure you've made this in, seems like you made this in like Photoshop or something or Adobe Illustrator. And
Yeah,
then
Canva, to be honest.
Canva. Okay. So yeah, the only thing that I'm going to say about this as far as format wise is that it's a little bit too much information.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have access to the template that I gave on LinkedIn?
Yes, I think you did share it
Okay.
yesterday as well.
Okay. Well, I'm going to share that again in the chat so that people can know about that. Give me some time so I can find it. then it's in my featured. Okay, here we go. So copy link to post. This is going to be a super long link. I'm going to post this in the chat once again. But there is the link to the resume. And then I'll also send this to you as well. You don't need to follow this format if you want to do something, but at least take heed to how many words I'm putting on that page, because this is quite a bit of words, and there was a lot of formatting that went into place to be able to put this many words on the page. And this is like the maximum amount of words that you can put on a page before it becomes a little bit too much. So take a look at that and then study that. But let's get into the content of your resume. Okay, you have your name up there. Nice. Email, website, LinkedIn. That's great. Now, what I would do is that I would actually have your, do I still have your portfolio up? Let me go back to it. I would go ahead and copy your portfolio name right here and place that right here. Because if they're not able to click on this, then at least they can highlight it and they can see it, and then they can translate that into the bar above so they actually know what your website is called.
Okay. Yeah, that was a trade-off
Yeah.
for aesthetics, but yeah.
It looks clean. I got it. This looks really clean, man. I can't fault you on that. And then same thing for your LinkedIn. You can shorten your LinkedIn handle if it is a little bit too long. I didn't really get to see yours, right? Okay, yeah. So same thing for LinkedIn. Just copy it, put it in there. Does it look a little bit messy? Yes, but they'll know exactly the link needed to go to your profile.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Experienced game designer with a strong background in design, engaging gameplay, mechanics, systems, and level. I'm a player. Okay, so this is the same thing that is on your profile, which that's fine. And you already know what we talked about with that. More specific, rearrange some things. Elaborate on the platforms that you've worked on. Directed a 2-player, one controller couch cooperation game. Now, one thing about you, you seem to like leadership, and I love seeing that. You can't really hype that up as much as you would like. If you have worked in a professional capacity, then yes, you can say, hey, okay, I want to market myself as a director. I directed this. But words like director and lead come off as a little bit of arrogance depending on the way that you structure it. Because if somebody with 8 years of experience is looking at you and you're trying to market yourself as a lead, then there can be some mixed feelings about that. So it comes from a good place. You have led some things, but you have to watch the way that you talk about that, because it can bite you instead of hurt you. I mean, it can bite you instead of be a boon for you.
Interesting. So, and how do you feel when you were reading through creatively on multiple pages, like especially on my website, on my resume? How does that come off?
For me, it seems like you've done a lot and you've worked on a lot of projects. And then I was this way when I was graduating college, so I understand where you're coming from, and I use the lead and whatnot to kind of boost myself up. But I would explain it in a way where, hey, I know that I'm a lead of this project. It wasn't AAA. It wasn't in the industry yet. I'm not leading, no pun intended. I'm not leading with that to sell myself, but I'm mentioning it because that's what I did do. Then Arthur
And
said, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but please go ahead.
I was going to say, Arthur said the template is very similar to mine, thank God. And then Tyler said, hey, man, thanks again for your help yesterday. Hope all goes well today, too. Not a problem, Tyler. Glad you got some good info to work with. Hope it really helps out. But go ahead, Jai.
Just want to like a quick follow up on it. So, let's say if I do decide to go another route and not make it as a creative lead, but what is another term that can catch the attention without really giving the idea that it was like an abusive word of lead, so to speak?
You can, well, creative lead is close to creative director. Creative directors are in charge of a large studio or a sizable studio. So what I would say, if you were like lead systems designer, you can put that. I put that on my old resume. Or lead game designer, you can do that. And then in the bullet points below, you can say, hey, I led this team doing such and such, and this was the result. But be careful with too many roles where you're like lead, 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 creative director, because that kind of comes off as arrogance. Although you did do it, being a lead at your level versus somebody who's been in the industry for like 15 years are two drastically different things. Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. For your work experience, I, let's see, you said present. Okay, present. When did this start? Put your start date on there. You only have a you only have a single month in here, so is there a timeline for that? Is there a proper start and end date on this? If it was all in the same month, put March 22 to March 22. But then again, not a lot of projects are made within a month, so make sure you describe why that project was all made within a month. Was it a game jam or something or what? And then what I'm going to say here is look through my resume because we got to move on, but look through my resume, look at the way that I
Mhm.
describe things, and then you'll slowly start to figure out how to market yourself. And the resume that I linked to you is the resume that I used before I had a job in the industry. So I had no prior AAA experience to go off of. So that should be a great template for you to figure out how to market yourself.
Perfect.
Okay. And then a staple, what do you think, user? I'm not for sure what that is. And then skills, your skills section should be up at the top because this is your flagship. This is what recruiters are going to understand. Oh my God, he knows Unity, Unreal, Maya, C Sharp, C++, Blueprints, Lua. He knows how to use Visual Studios, Photoshops, Office. Okay, cool. He knows how to make documentation, leadership, play testing. Okay, QA worthy, gameplay systems, collaboration. Okay, this is all good stuff right here, man. This is the stuff I want to see front and center because this is the meat and potatoes of what you do. Put that at the top. That's awesome stuff to have
Gotcha.
listed at the top.
Perfect.
But yeah, Jai, that's what I have for you. You have the projects. I think you just have to self market yourself in a more concise way. But you have the tools. You just have to lay it out and present it the best way that you can.
Perfect. I'm glad that hard skills wise, I have a ton of projects to showcase off of, and I'm really do counting on it before the turn of the year.
Good stuff. Was there one last question that you wanted to ask me before we get out of here?
This has all been great, Tyvek. Thank you so much. One last question that I think everybody would like to hear is, and especially me, is as the game industry is kind of transitioning into its newer stage or newer phase, what can someone who wants to enter the industry keep themselves ready for when a hiring spree comes into place?
When you say we're going into a new age, what do you mean by that?
That's a very designer type follow-up question. Um, what I really am hinting towards is how there was a big boom, as you mentioned yesterday as well, during the COVID time where there was a lot of hiring in the games and there were a lot of games being pumped out, and now I think it's kind of going back into the same age where there's been a ton of layoffs, and what I mean by going into the new phase is when the industry stables itself and there are more rolling hiring happening for more junior levels and that continues the pace that it was earlier. before COVID.
Hmm.
How does someone who wants to enter into the industry keep themselves sharp and up to date for when more junior level roles kind of pop up?
Gotcha. Always be working on your skill set and make sure you're reaching out. You reached out, you followed me, now you're here, you got a portfolio review, you know what you need to do to make yourself a better candidate or a more hireable candidate because you reached out, you were here. Right place, right time, you put yourself out there, you're in the hot seat in front of a lot of people, but you made that decision to put yourself out there. You made that decision to contact me. So that's also the theme of today's live stream is that you have to reach out. The best way you're going to get info about what to do and to stay current is to talk to the people who are currently doing the thing that you want to do in the future. You get in good with them. They see you put in good work. Like the advice that I give you, the way that you can pay me back for my time is to write down what I've been saying, what you have been doing, and then actually apply it.
Yes.
Because if you really want help, you really want to get in, it is tough, it is discouraging, I know, but you reached out to me, you got the info, and then now you know what you need to do to make yourself a better candidate. You just have to put in the work. Now keep on doing that repeatedly. It doesn't stop here. If you have a system designer that you want to look out for, look up to, reach out to, then talk to them so that you can know what type of techniques, what tools, what software, what you need to learn, and that's going to keep you current. You're not going to learn what you need to know by just getting on LinkedIn and scrolling or going to YouTube and finding some random video. Reach out to the people who are doing it on the daily. That's what I have to say about that. That's how you keep yourself current. And then I know it's a rough time with all the layoffs happening. Don't let that discourage you from getting in, even though it's tough. I know a lot of people that I've talked to have said, well, since the game industry is having a lot of layoffs, I'm just not going to do it anymore. This is discouraging. I'm going to give up. It's hard. It's rough. It is tough. If we're talking about the AAA game industry, only the top like 10%, maybe even a little bit lower, maybe 5% of people are in AAA. So it is a competition. You do have to put in the work and you do have to have the skills to back it up and have a little bit of luck, right place, right time. But the more your network grows, the more you talk to people, the more chances that or the more opportunities that are going to come your way to actually prove yourself. And before we get out of here, for you, Jai, I know we talked about interview prep and everything. I do have videos on my YouTube channel that tell you some things to do before the interview. But what I do before my interviews is I record myself and then I hype myself up. I'm the man for the job. They would be stupid to hire me. It would be stupid to not hire me. Like, you're the man. I got the skills. I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to do it. I have my notebook with my questions that I want to ask during the Q&A. You can do this. This job was meant for you. You looked at the job application and you can do 90% of the things on there. You just need somebody to give you a chance. Okay? Calm your nerves. Listen to your favorite song. Listen to it on blast. Sing the lyrics as loud as you can to get those nerves out of you. Scream in a pillow to get those nerves out of you. Just let all that anxiety and that tension out of your body. Just scream at something. It's daunting. You don't want to put yourself in front of a panel, but have the faith that you have what it takes. You're not going to be, everybody feels like they're not prepared for the interview. It's because it's new. It's the unknown. You're putting yourself out there and then you're fearing the rejection that nobody's going to like you or you're not going to have the skills to back it up. You can think that way after the interview, but once you go through the interview, you snap into a mode where you're the best version of yourself. You're going to get this job. There's not going to be any other answer for you except you're going to get this job. So you're going to show up to the table and you're going to get the job done. Advocate for yourself. You're going to listen. You're going to slow down. And you're going to speak the best way that you know how. You have to get into this mind state before you go into the interview because that's what you need for your true potential to come out. So remove any type of doubt from your mind before you go into an interview as much as you can. Tell your mind to shut up for 1 hour during the interview so you can really sell yourself. And it's a mindset thing. And so that's what I can say for that. And Confidence is related to how well your portfolio is set up, how well you're marketing yourself on your profile, and how your resume is set up. So make sure all of those are in line as well, because that's a foundation for you to sell yourself. PPR is important.
Gotcha.
Profile, portfolio, resume. That gives you a solid foundation to be like, if I mess up in the interview, I can always consult back to my PPR. Okay, that's what I have to say about that.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for that. That really boosts a lot of confidence. I know we are short of time. I just want to briefly ask you a little bit of an advice just on that follow-up interview thingy. Um, After having like a tough time not being able to crack it, there's a rough patch that I have been going through.
Mm-hmm.
If you can just briefly give some like motivating things that one could do to bounce back and not be like like just be record or stuck onto that, hey, I couldn't do it, and that's probably the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like be the one who bounces back, sort of some words that if you can share, that'd be super helpful.
Okay,
That's all from my side. Thanks.
gotcha. You have to realize that you're not alone. That's the biggest thing. You are not going through this alone. Several other people are going through this. It's not just you. Stop trying to hide what you think your shortcomings are and actually just expose them. Not Don't write a post on LinkedIn or anything, but just be okay with feeling not okay. You have to feel not okay for yourself so that you can acknowledge what's wrong and then try to find answers to seek something. What I said, you have to reach out. You always have to be moving forward. If you have intense anxiety, it's because you're not moving forward in something. So I talked about it before. Have an accountability partner where you're like, hey, keep me accountable for doing this. This is my goal. Make sure I do this. If you don't have a goal, you need to get one. Whether that be the title that you're trying to go for, you need to know what you're going for. And then you need to know people who can help you along the way. Don't do it alone. That's why I say reach out, talk to people, because they will give you the inspiration and the path to take one more step. It is daunting. It can lead to depression if you try to do it all yourself. You have to lower your pride and ask for help. Not a week from when you start feeling sad or depressed, not a month after, not 3 months after, not a year after. The moment you start to feel depressed about or confused about where you need to go, you need to ask questions. LinkedIn is great for that. Suffer a little bit of embarrassment or rejection woes from reaching out to somebody and being ghosted, so that once that person does respond back to you, they're going to give you so much golden knowledge about what you need to do that you can't help but to be inspired. So the whole thing, don't feel like you're alone. Always reach out and lower your pride so you can reach out. That's what I have to say about that.
Perfect. That's a great way to move on to the next one. That's a great segue. Thank you so much, Tavik. I
Mm-hmm.
really appreciate your time. There's a lot of time for feedback
Mm-hmm.
for me to go on. Hopefully, I'll come back in one of these other reviews and with a refreshed and renewed um, um, PPR, so to speak. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Hey, best of luck to you, Jai.
Thank you. Have a
Glad to
great
have you on
evening.
here. You too. Okay. Okay, who do we got up next? Got Justin Meyer up next. Justin, are you ready? Then Justin said, what helps with anxiety and mental health is to take short breaks from what is getting you down. The gym is a great place to spend a short time and come back fresh. Yes, sir. If y'all don't know, I'm a major advocate for the gym. Not everybody's thing, but it helps release a lot of stress, gets you in a positive mind state because you're moving your body around, and you just get to be in a space where people are working and progressing on themselves. So, yeah, go to the gym. No, go to the gym and go running, do some cardio, do some heavy weights, go swim, something. All right, Justin, can you hear me?
I can be loud here.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, well, let's jump right into it. Are you ready?
Yeah, ready.
All right, cool. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then where you're trying to get to. And I see you were at Shawnee State University.
Yeah. You were here the other day. It was really
Mm-hmm.
good to see you here. Yeah.
Cool.
Um, I'm now a senior at Shawnee State University and also the game programming degree. I've got a background in art. I was an animator for 2 years before I came here. And the other day at SGC, the games conference, a lot of people were speaking about specializing. And I was in my degree. I did all the classes and everything, but I didn't really know where I wanted to specialize yet. And been thinking about it, and with my background in animation and now my like technical skills, I kind of want to mesh them together. So I've been thinking like technical artist, technical animator, pipeline. Someone works on like artist pipelines. I've all got an interest in that type of stuff. So I created a portfolio of my work and LinkedIn, trying to focus on that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and anything you can see or point out will be much appreciated.
Okay, cool. And just to give everybody a disclaimer, senior at Shawnee State University, so I'm going to be weighing his PPR a little bit differently than someone who has graduated. So keep that in mind. And then Nova said, "What do I bench?" You know what? I don't really bench that much, but the last time that I benched, it's been years ago. I really don't like bench. It messes up my shoulder. I think I was benching like around 235, 245, somewhere around there. And then VDR said, somehow I can see that you advocate for the gym. I can't put my finger as to why, though. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so first thing off the bat, that's what you're currently doing, but make sure you switch that title to what you do want to do.
Yes.
And then I'm a senior with both programming and art experience with a passion for being a bridge between art and tech, as well as a keen interest in responsive melee combat systems. Okay. Currently, I'm in the U.S. studying programming and game design at Shawnee State University. I will graduate in 2024 with my bachelor's degree in digital simulation and game engineering technology. Okay, so you're taking more of the technical route through the
Correct.
university.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So one thing that I will say is that you have resident assistant RA here, which is great. That's nice that you're a part of the community and it's part of leadership as well. One thing that you can add here is that the projects that you have worked on so far, if they have lasted for any stint of time, then you can put that under your experience section because that is a product that you're actively working on, and that product does have a timeline.
Okay.
So I would put that right there. Okay, and I'm probably going to look through your portfolio as well before I get back to this so I can get the full picture. But it's great that you have your portfolio right here and then your 3D animation show reel. But let's go to your portfolio. And is there anything in particular you want me to take note of when I go through this?
Um, I've got the 3D animation work, and I worked remotely professionally for some few studios in games as an animator. But I want to more transition to the programming side and kind of leave the animation side behind, but still be connected to it. That's why I was thinking technical animator
Mm-hmm.
or work on the pipelines. But I'm aware that I don't want to be distracting with my previous 3D animation experience, but I do want it to be like a key inside there.
Okay. Isles of Aether. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when I first get to this page, you need to have this video like ballooned up. So can I highlight this up here? I cannot. Can I make my cursor a little bit bigger? That'd be better for y'all. go. There we go. Nothing. Okay. God, no. Okay. Maybe that. Okay, that's good. See, I can see my cursor a little bit better. So I would say the information that you have on here is in this little slither of space, but your bars are going out this wide. So I'd say you need to expand your videos to make sure that they're comparable in size to whatever this bar width is. And then what are you using? You're using Wixsite, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect, love it.
I was using an H&R template, and then you recommended Wix during the conference, and it's so much easier.
It ain't it?
Yeah.
I'm glad you're advocating for it. Okay, so let's go through it. So when I first get here, I'm not really sure what to look at. So one thing that you need to do is have this video right here, which you do. And then you have to show me what you're getting to instantly. So the walking in the front, I'm not for sure what's going on right now. So you have to make sure that you get to a part like this where you're actively in combat. This shows me something. In the beginning, there's no enemies near. I'm not for sure what you're firing at. The enemies are in the grass, so I'm not really for sure. I can't really see anything that's going on, which that's fine. This is your... It's right there. Show me something like that. Show me something like that. And then that's cool as well. Now for this visual effect right here, Unreal is weird about bright particle effects, but you notice that the lighting gets dim once this effect is on screen. That's something that you might want to try to fix a little bit with the lighting, is that to not dim the entire scene when a visual effect is on the screen like that. But that's very specific. But I will say that you're a senior. You're going to have to reiterate your portfolio several times before you actually get to the last iteration. So I'm not going to focus too much on the format of it, but more rather the information and what you're displaying on your portfolio. Okay. Okay, so I was Aether, Unreal Engine 5, Unreal Engine 5 blueprints in C++. So you're coding in, are you coding in C++?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really good. Make sure you highlight that.
Okay.
C++ skills for Unreal Engine is a highly sought after skill, as a lot of companies are moving over to Unreal Engine to make their game. So C++ is something that people highly look for. Ep.4 is great. What is ClickUp and Casadure?
ClickUp's like, what's it, like a free Jira type of thing, Jira-like or whatever. It's pretty much project management. And Cascadeur is the art instructor here. The art instructor here just got me on it. It uses machine learning and AI to add polished animations, pretty much.
Excuse me. Okay, cool. That's awesome. I might need to look into that myself. Okay, ClickUp in parentheses, I would put like Jira-like or Jira alternative, just so that recruiters know what that is once the time comes for it. Because I've never heard of that before. So at least if you're like, hey, this is Jira-like, it's like, oh, okay, bug tracking. Responsibilities, I help the team get a jump start on the project with my third person sword combat and AI template, which was redesigned to work with this specific project. Okay. I also help with odds and ends, such as... So the way that you're describing yourself on this portfolio, you need to describe it as, this is what I do, not what I was tasked to do. So you're doing the thing not because you were given a task, but because you like it. And so advocate for yourself, like, I did this thing, I designed this, I coded this, not helped with.
Okay, that's a pretty good point.
And then what I learned so far, this project is giving me another good opportunity to work in a large team using version control. Okay, and then how y'all still have like 4 or 5 months to work on this project, right?
Yeah, we got a whole semester left.
Okay. Excuse me. So what I would do right here, what I learned, you want to make sure that you have some pretty good information for what you've learned. And right now, so far, this project has given me another good opportunity to work in a large team using version control. All of this language is like I'm helping the team, and I'm glad that I'm with the team. But you're not advocating for yourself. So you're doing these things. You have the work. Your portfolio is for you to express what you've done. You're not here to sell your product. You're not here to sell your team. You're here to sell yourself and what your skill set is by showing off your product and then mentioning your team here and there if it makes you look better. But right now, it feels like you're putting stuff down on the page and you're giving 50% of the credit away to your team. And you don't want that. So keep that in mind when you're going through here. You're the badass who's going to get the job done. This is about me. I'm using my product to further emphasize why somebody should hire me. That's the mentality.
Sounds good.
Then JM, programmer artist. Now when I do, let me see if I go to portfolio, you have your name down here, or move that right quick. You have your name down here in the bottom left corner, but I lose that when I go to another page. So if I go to, let me click on one of your projects, I am losing your name. You have your initials up here, but maybe I forgot your name or whatnot in the meantime if I'm a recruiter coming through here. So make sure you always spell out your name in the top. Okay, and then view more. Sword combat showcase. Okay, so this is the same format as the last. And then another cool thing, some key features. I created a system that could easily be migrated to other projects. It can create any melee weapon and use line trace to accurately detect hits and damage any actor. Each weapon has a list of easily editable custom attack animations that will combo after the last one. Okay, so when it comes to showing off artistry stuff or combat stuff, it's better to show rather than tell. I would also recommend to you going through betas. If you want to go, you want to do the tech and the art and the animation. What it sounds like, tech art is kind of defined as, animation and rigging and shaders and textures. That's the tech art region. Kind of seems, do you want to stick around combat? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, preferably stick around combat.
Okay. So it might be good to market yourself as, do you want to code combat?
Yeah, I enjoy that as well.
Okay, so it might be great for you to look towards like a gameplay engineer, because they're going to be working on the 3Cs: character, camera, and controller. They're going to be hands-on with the player, how it moves, what the camera does, the interactivity, and the base components or foundations of the combat system as a whole. And then that'll also be working with how to make systems to incorporate animations and how to script or how to combine animations and use code to, morph the animation in real time based on what you need to do in the game. So probably look towards gameplay engineering and see if that path is right for you.
Okay, working specifically on the player, would that usually be a smaller team? Because I don't want to work, I don't want to put all my hopes into something that's very specific and rare, and like usually most people have that person, that employee already. Like what you were mentioning with the previous guy about the designer and the narrative.
Hmm.
I know that was yesterday's stream actually. Like the scarcity of positions.
I talked about two positions: level design and narrative design. They are highly, highly, highly sought after. Those positions in particular are extremely difficult to get into. This position that we're talking about, gameplay engineering, if you're an engineer and you code, you're going to find a job. If you are in the combat space, you're going to find a job. People like recruiters message me all the time. Hey, Tyvik, do you know any combat designers that I can, reach out to because we're looking for one? Combat designers in that space are highly sought after because it's such a deep specialization, and it takes a lot of knowledge to do it well. So I would say that gameplay engineering is kind of the same way. If you know what you're talking about when it comes to gameplay, and animations and whatnot, so that space would be highly lucrative for you to get a job in. If you know C++ and you're pretty good at design, then there is some space out there for you. It'll be a lot easier than trying to get into narrative.
Okay, that's good to know.
And then there are adjacent things like technical game designer, where you make abilities and items and weapons and game modes and debug tools that you can use, and it's still centered around gameplay. So you don't necessarily have to be directly tied to a combat team, but you can be combat team adjacent, and there are still opportunities for you. Okay, about contact. Great photo. Great breakdown. I love the colors here. Chicago, South Africa.
I've got a question about that after you read it.
Okay. I'm a senior with both programming and art experience, with a passion for being a bridge between art and tech, as well as a keen interest in responsive melee combat systems. So also, you want to be a liaison between programming and art. That's also what technical designers do as well. So you may want to look into that career path as well. Then I was born in Chicago, but moved to South Africa when I was very young and grew up here my entire life. Being homeschooled, I had plenty of time to explore my interest. I earned my associate degree in 3D animation online with Anim School just as my family moved to the United Arab Emirates. Soon after, got the opportunity to travel back to the USA to study programming and game design at Shawnee State University. I will graduate in 2024 with my bachelor's degree in digital simulation and game engineering technology. Solid. What was your question?
It was would that is that too distracting? The background of like where I've been.
Not at all. I don't think it is at all. Because that lets me know more about you. So you say what you want to do, and then you tell me a little bit more about you, which is great.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I was trying for that. Um, I didn't want it to be too much fluff.
No, it's fine right now. Okay, so the resume. Okay. I Wix. So I would set up your portfolio in a way where it just takes me to a separate page. You don't have to embed it in the page itself. Like on my About Contact page, I click for resume, and then bam, there it is. It opens up nice and big, solo page. I'm not distracted by anything else. I would recommend that for you. And then the watermark right here for the free version, I would remove that if you can.
That's with the add-on for the embedded version. So just for temporary, I got the click to view PDF on the right side. If you do want to open it to a link.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, just give me this.
Okay.
Okay, education, Bachelor of Science. Okay, technical skills, software proficiencies. So you're using up a lot of space for the software proficiencies and technical skills. I would put those all on one line. So if we go over to my resume, and I'll split screen it. So you can see that my programming language is right here. They're all on one line. My software right here is all on one line. That saves you 3 lines if you put them all on just one line. And then that'll allow you to have all of these other things boost up to here. References is a little bit tricky because they'll ask for references themselves. You don't need to automatically have that in your resume itself. So keep those on deck, keep them a separate page. And if you're applying for a job, you can upload multiple documents. You can upload your resume as it is right here, no references, and then you can put this reference sheet in a different document and then upload that document as well as an additional document. So that way they have them. But references really don't belong in the resume itself. And then for your education, this is my personal opinion. I think education should be at the bottom here because you're trying to sell your skills and what you're capable of, not your school. So the resume or the recruiters, they're going to be able to look at this and then see your education on the bottom. So I don't think it's something that needs to be the first thing that you see when you open this up. I want to know about Justin Meyer, not first thing about what schools you went to. I can see it at the bottom.
Okay.
And then projects, you're going to need a lot more detail here about what you're actually going to do. That's going to develop over time. See, game animator for a PlayStation 5 title, collaborated with a team of animators and engineers to create and polish game animations and cinematics. So these projects need to be actual projects with a title, a timeline, and then what you've done. So the projects right now are kind of like subtask. They're not their own thing. So you need to make sure every project under, or every section under projects has a name of the project, a title that you were in on that project, a timeline, and then a description underneath about what you actually did. See, leadership and extracurricular activities. Okay, I think those are fine. I would leave these extracurricular activities off until you figure out how you want to describe yourself with the work that you've actually done. Then once you've narrowed down the wording for what you've actually done, then you can come through if there's any space left and then put these leadership and extracurricular activities. So I guess the overall premise of what I'm getting from this is that, or from, if I was a recruiter and I was looking through this, I would say, okay, he's having his credibility come from his education, his extracurricular activities, and then his references. And so you need to make it a point that you can self-market yourself without the need to put your education in the spotlight and your references in the spotlight and your extracurricular activities in the spotlight. What can Justin do? Now on LinkedIn, you can get rid of these numbers right here. I forgot, it's in the settings somewhere, but you can create your own handle. Get rid of those numbers so it just says linkedin.com/in/Justin Meyer so that it looks a little bit more crisp. The overall layout of the resume is great, easy to read. You just need to reorganize some things and then learn how to be a cheerleader for yourself and put those words down on the paper to make yourself sound like a badass. Okay. Now, one thing that I will show you right quick. I'll move this over here. Where's your portfolio? This is meant to give you the perspective of your competition. Bader was a senior, pretty sure last year. He just graduated this summer. I need you to understand that the combat space or game engineering in general is a very competitive space, and you still have to make sure you have the quality projects. So study Bader's profile, and this is a little bit of hard-hitting truth, is that you have to get the quality of the combat that you're making up quite a lot. I think Bader is probably about like, what would that timeline be? He's about a year ahead of you in terms of like seniority, but closely. Hey, what's up, Bader? Welcome to the chat. So yeah, I will say that Bader is your competition, and then you really have to make sure you get your skills up, learn some things, and your presentation of your projects, you have to get that up. So I'm going to link you his portfolio. Take notes on it as to how he's displaying his combat, what he's doing, how polished it looks, and then always be looking out for ways to improve the project that you're working on, make it look better. Can you get any more type of polish out of the combat that you already have? Can you make it look a little bit more approachable to people that are new? How do you show your combat in the best light? His portfolio is going to help teach you how to do that, and then to really narrow down and hone your skills.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I checked it out when you sent the link to the previous guy and beta. That's pretty good stuff. I get kind of I can very easily tell when some guys' work's better than other guys' work. When it comes to my stuff, I get very blinded by it. So having that as a reference is going to really help me.
Okay. So yeah, what I'm saying, so I can say it pretty bluntly, there's a lot of quality that you need in your projects before you graduate. Combat is tough. It's hard to make look right. Animation is tough. You have to put in the time. When I was giving the keynote speech there, earlier last month, I think I mentioned that you need to be putting in about 20 hours a week outside of class, anything else, and really hone in on your craft. You can make mistakes in college. You have the time. You can mess up as much as you want to. But after you graduate, the clock is ticking. So what I will say is that you have to increase your quality of your projects. And this goes for the entire Isles of Aether project. And I tried to explain this while I was there, but there was a little bit of defensiveness in that, is that the quality needs to be 3x'd by the time you all graduate. Okay. Whether that be like the models that you all use, the responsiveness of the controller, the attacks, the player feedback, you all are on your way to doing that. But I think you all just need to put in a lot more time to make sure you get the quality bar that is needed to be hireable once you graduate. And I will say that you all are probably about 40% of the way there, but you all need to seriously push before that graduation date. Okay. And then if you really push, you start to learn your strengths and your weaknesses. And then as a team, you get to grow. Make sure you all are being honest with each other about the quality of work that you all produce. And then collaborate and make changes that are better for the game overall. Don't be afraid to remove or cut stuff if it's not working. And make sure that you listen to your professors on what they're talking about, because they have your best interest in mind. So that's what I would say to you. Now, reach back out to me, I guess in January or February, if you redo your portfolio in the meantime. I would love to hear the progress on your all's project in January or February after y'all have gotten dove into it after winter break. But I do want to keep tabs on you all. You all have a project that I was really interested in while I was there, and I want to see you all succeed. So please keep in contact with me.
I really appreciate it, Tyvik. That's golden advice. That's all gold. That's gonna really inspire the guys.
Yeah, I want to see you all succeed. I want to tell you all the truth. You all have to come a lot harder. You all have the base foundation. You just need to put in the time. Okay?
Thanks, man.
Okay. So I'm not going to say anything right now because there's still work to be done. You're still a senior. So just reach back out to me January, at the end of January or in February. Tell me the progress. Tell me the good news. And then we can go from there and I can get you set up.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, cool. Thank you for being on, Justin. Thank you and Adam for being on here. Put
Yeah.
yourself in the hot seat.
Yeah, I'm just doing some stuff. It's all good.
Cool. Then do you have any question for me before we get out of here?
Unrelated to any of this, yesterday live stream you said you did a boxing class.
Yeah,
How did that go?
it was phenomenal. I loved it. I loved it so much. I do cardio every once in a while in the gym, but I like disguised cardio, like playing basketball. But I needed something else, so I tried boxing out for the first time yesterday, and I had an absolute blast. The people that was instructing me, super knowledgeable, super professional, and I got out of the boxing class like, you know, doing the moves when I got back home and whatnot. So I'm really into it, man. So hoping to keep that going.
Yeah, it takes a few tries and then you stop blinking or turn your back when the guy's like got his hands in your face. But it's pretty fun stuff. I'm glad you're having fun with that.
Have you done boxing yourself?
Muay Thai and then Jiu-Jitsu, just for fun. But
Just for
it's
fun.
pretty nice stuff, yeah. It's nice to be on the computer in the day and then get outside and be physical in the evenings.
Gotcha. Becoming a deadly weapon just for fun. Love it.
Thanks, man. I respect you.
Of course. And Justin, thank you for being here. Thank you for being in the hot seat. Thank you for, you know, coming through, chatting with me. But yeah, reach out to me. Love to keep track on your all's progress.
Will do, man.
All right. Take it easy. Okay. Yeah, Bader said I'm cooking. Next year is gonna shock you. Okay. Looking forward to it, man. Then VDR said Bader being the benchmark is the way to go. It is. He has a really good portfolio project under his belt. Really great presentation skills on his portfolio as well. And then Freeze Man said, per the theme of the stream, reach out to him. Yeah, reach out to Bader. Then Bader said, wanted to add something as well. It's very vital to also explore inspirations outside of games. Other media heavily influences how you express combat in your projects. Very much so. Okay, Vasco. And then Anise is on there as well. Okay. Okay, in the meantime, I'll turn on some music right quick. Okay, Vasco, you ready? Oh, that's right. I was supposed to send that to him. Okay. Man, I love this song. Miss Anarchist in the building. Hey, I'm trying to give some advice out of here. set some lives straight, drop some knowledge. Then Justin said, "Thanks, Beta, for being a benchmark for those of us, or for this emoji icon is just in the way. Let me see if I, there we go." Justin said, "Thanks, Beta, for being a benchmark for those of us who aspire to get to your work level." Man, Beta out here being an inspiration. Bro got wisdom for days. I know a little something. Jay Casio, welcome in, man. He said, "I'm late to the party, but good to see you again and the rest. Cheers, bro. Cheers, my man. Glad to see your name in here." Okay, well, in the meantime, while Vasco gets ready, anybody got any questions about profile, portfolio, resume, interview prep, any of that? Right now is the best time to ask those questions. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. I think we're ready, y'all.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Perfect.
Cool.
Okay, let me set this up and this. Okay, whenever you're ready.
All right,
Yeah.
let me set you up here. Gameplay programmer. Okay. So yeah, you know the drill. Tell me what you about, what goals you're trying to get to. Everybody, this is Vasco Cruz. Am I saying your name correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Tell us what you about.
Okay. Well, I'm a gameplay programmer. That is my focus. That's what I learned to enjoy the most and to want to pursue, especially from college. That's where I really was able to narrow down what I want to do. It's not completely narrowed down. There's gameplay programmer has several areas of focus. I'm Portuguese. I'm from Lisbon. I've wanted to do this for so long, and when I have a bachelor's degree in IT and a master's in computer science. In the master's is where I found out I really wanted to do this. And I finished my graduation was March this year. It was supposed to have been September, but because of COVID, there was a lot of delays. So I had like 230 people ahead of me in the presentation for the master's thesis. So I only was able to present in March. Ever since March came and went, I've been exclusively gaining new skills in game development, especially gameplay programming, online courses, advice from people in the industry, just trying to reach out and find somehow some info that would allow me to know where to go from there, because I professionally have no experience. And here we are now. I am reaching out again to see what I'm still doing wrong.
Okay, cool. Loving that you're reaching out, learning the skills that you need to. Love hearing that. Okay, what are you trying to get to AAA?
That is the end goal. Yes.
Okay. Then it says right here that you're in Portugal. So
Yep.
do you have a work visa?
No, I'm exclusively trying to find jobs here in the European Union where I can actually work. US is out of the question for now because nobody's going to spend a work visa sponsorship on an entry level with no experience. So no. I have some luck because a lot of work here in the European Union, it doesn't matter if you're not from the country, there's no need for visa. So I could work in Poland, for example, for CDPR, and there's no need for visa. It's within the European Union. They have another name for it. I forget the name. The economic zone within Europe, something like that. So multiple countries that have a lot of game devs: Poland, Sweden, Finland, Germany, Guerrilla Games at the Netherlands. A lot of these countries I can work with no problems with visa. That's where I'm aiming for right now.
Okay.
Later, if I have more, if I get into the industry, get more experience, I might try then the US. If I have higher levels of quality to my name, maybe they'll be willing to sponsor a visa for me. But now, no, there's no shot.
Whew, okay, coming in with the heat. I love that you've done research on where you can actually go and actually have a direction that you want to go towards, man. To
Thanks.
all my international
I have
watchers,
been following you, so
good. To all my international watchers that are watching this video right now or watching the playback of this live stream, do know you need to know where you can go, so that way you can know what opportunities are more in the present moment for you. A lot of international students or graduates that reach out to me who are looking to get into the US, they don't have the work visa, but they're like, okay, well, but I do want to work at this company. I'm not international. I'm not for sure that pipeline. It's kind of a very muddy mess when you don't have the work visa and you're trying to work in the US as your first goal. So it requires a lot of research. I recommend reaching out to recruiters to see what your opportunities are and how they go about work visas and how you can go about getting them. So I'm glad you already have
US and Canada are basically impossible. UK might have a better shot since it's within Europe, not European. With Brexit, even in Europe, you need a visa to work there, but it's less demanding, less strict than US and Canada. But it's probably still outside the realm of possibilities especially for someone like me, who just got out of college and has no work experience at all.
Gotcha. See you have mutual connections with Mark.
I previously in chat I was the one being envious of what was his name? The first one today.
Jai.
500 plus, and I was looking at that with a decent amount of envy. I was doing this wrong for a long time, sending out a bunch of connection attempts and getting nothing back. And only recently did I find out through, I don't remember who it was, but there was somebody with a program about how to network within LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And I understood that the approach I was taking was it was seeming a bit too rash, a bit too brazen about it, and so I had to change the way I worded the attempt of getting to connect. Mm-hmm. And I've had way more success now. I'm connecting with much more ease with recruiters. Especially, I wanted to connect with recruiters the most because they were the ones that are going to help me the most understand what do they want to see from me when I'm applying. Mm-hmm. And then I want to connect with people within the same branch of development as me. So either AI programming or gameplay programming. So Mark was the first one. The moment I saw that notification on LinkedIn, finally, people say yes. It's not complete nothingness for months and nobody is saying anything. This is the path. So now I don't want to grow too quickly. I'm not going to send 500 requests in a month. It doesn't work well. No. But I will abuse the Game Awards to get some connections.
Good.
Because I've understood that a lot of people, when you're feeling good about something, it's easier to say yes. So if people it's a festive moment, the Game Awards, it's when a lot of people celebrate video games, though we understand it's mostly a marketing thing. But it's when they're more open to accepting invitations from people connections from people they know from nowhere and have. I hold no value as a connection, being a graduate, so it becomes easier. But yeah, it's still a long ways to 500 plus.
Oh yeah, just progressively. Marathon. Okay, well let's get into it. So gameplay programmer, you already know what you want to do. The title is already there.
Yep.
Great. Then your about section says gameplay programmer focused on player abilities. I also have some experience in using level design to feed back into the gameplay flow, player movement, animation programming, and AI for over 2 years. Okay. master's graduate in computer science and 1+ years of experience in Unreal, using both Blueprint and visual coding. Oh, Blueprint, visual coding, and C++. Strong 3D math skills. Man, this people love seeing that.
What, the 3D math?
The 3D math skills, yeah.
Yeah. I've recently even done some revisiting of. I haven't used much of it, especially since Unreal does a lot of that work for us. Especially if I'm using the blueprints. So I have had to do some revisiting because I saw some questions in some interviews. I've never gotten an interview yet, but I saw some other people reporting back what they got, and I was like, "What are you talking about? What is this?" So I had to do some research back and learn some new stuff. But yeah, that was a big focus for me.
Yeah, those tests are daunting. I've seen them, and I was like, "Nope, can't do it."
I'm horrible at the type of evaluation. Projects, sign me up. I'll do really well in projects. If you are going to ask me to remember something off the top of my head that's very theoretical, I'm screwed. It's a no-go.
Gotcha. So tech is your alley.
Yeah.
Okay. So you say you're focused on player abilities. And then you also have some experience in level design, player movement, animation programming, and AI for over 2 years. So do you know which exact area you want to have as your affinity?
If I had to choose, I would prefer to be player abilities. So power-ups, how the player interacts with the world. If I could focus on combat even better. But I'm willing to any sort of focus on how the player interacts with the world. That is my area.
Okay, so that would be gameplay programmer or technical game designer.
Yes.
Just to give you, I don't know if they told you that at all. Like, I was a technical designer, and everything that you saying that you want to do, I've done before as a technical game designer.
My second, no, nobody's mentioned much to me because, well, my college degree was not focused in game development. I just had 2 classes in it that had it, so there wasn't much guiding from the teachers as to what do you look for, what is the focus you want to go into. It was mostly just, oh, this is the class, do it, that's it. Okay. So I had to figure out from other people what it means to specialize in game dev. My second choice, if it couldn't be gameplay well, it's still within gameplay programming, but if it couldn't be player abilities, it would be AI. That would be my second choice because I have some experience with it. One of the projects I did for college was that, and my latest project was my personal one. I also have some use of AI.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. Okay. So top skills: C++, visual programming, gameplay programming, Unreal Engine 5, and 3D math. Okay, you're a recent graduate. Okay, projects, you have them right there. It's great to see. So for your projects, let me see, third-person shooter with AI enemies in a rotating level. No need to describe your project right here. Tell me what you did. Tell me why Tell me how this relates to what role that you want to go for.
Yeah, I think one of either Chai or the one previous to me had the same situation where it was just mostly showing, oh, this is a project I made, instead of, oh, this is what I did in the project. I didn't have time to, between then and now, to fix that here. But yeah, I already noted that here on a piece of paper that I should describe what I did. That was my first mistake when building my first version of the portfolio that we'll get into after.
Okay. Yeah, it's really easy because, you're like, hey, I made this project in college. I've been working on it. Like, why wouldn't I want to show this off?
Doesn't this look good?
Yeah.
You want this? I did it. I won't tell you what I did, but it looks good.
Exactly. It's such a go-to way of thinking. And even I done that, and I was like, what do you mean I have to market my skills and myself? I just made a project. Like, This is me.
Because what we're exposed, especially for outside the industry, what we're exposed to the most is the trailers. It's the sizzle reels. It's the short bursts of everything that we can show you that looks good, instead of the technicalities of, oh, this is how this works from behind the screen, from behind the curtain. So it's easy to fall into that trap.
You want to know what I think it is? this industry, or I guess humans in general, don't like to brag about themselves because
I
they think it
despise
makes
it.
them
Yeah.
feel pompous or like arrogant. But I actually advocate that people like boast about themselves, not in an not in a arrogant way where you're
Arrogant
trying to
way.
put
Yeah, yeah,
anybody
yeah, yeah.
down, but like, hey, I did that thing. Like I done the damn thing. It's like stop letting the world and the way that they're going to respond to that diminish your response to want to celebrate yourself.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No.
once you,
Completely agree. My problem is the fact that I'm somewhat introverted, so it becomes very difficult to boast, or at least to assert that, hey, no, I am proud of this. This is really cool, and I did it. It becomes difficult, but yes, if there's any way to get in the industry is to showcase how good you are. So you have to talk about it, even if it's hard.
yeah, and then even like growing up, you're told to, always stay humble. And so when you get to
Yeah.
this point, your skills of like boosting yourself up and self marketing are very low. Okay, let's get into your portfolio.
I don't
So
think I've sent you the. Oh wait, no, you can get in my portfolio with my CV is there if you want to take a look at it. So that's better. Yeah,
okay,
I didn't send it to you, but it's there in the about section.
all right. So I'm sure you've been, watching the previous critiques and whatnot. So the about
Yeah.
section, make yourself sound like a badass.
One
Gameplay
one
programmer.
section.
Okay, cool.
I've already I have to fix that part already. I noticed it today. I have
Okay,
two
cool.
sections. I have context and about. I have to change just to one.
Cool. So do I need to go over this at all?
I'd still prefer it because you might have corrected some things on others that I have made wrong, and some things that I'm still making wrong. You are still to correct. So I think it's best. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So gameplay programmer focused on player abilities. You told me you wanted to do a lot more things rather than player abilities. You told me the adjacent things that you also have an interest in, and then you also told me that you wanted to go more towards combat as well. Is that correct?
Mostly, yes. Yes, I'd say yes.
Or do you want to go towards combat?
I have a preference towards combat, so if I can, yes, that part is correct. Um, I'm Let's go with that because I have the tendency to just branch out to other stuff I find interesting. So let's go with that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I was going to
Combat focused gameplay programmer. Yeah,
Okay, cool. I was going to tell you, like, don't say, if I can. Like, either you
Yeah.
want to do it or you don't.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Exactly.
So, yeah, I'll just say I'll let you figure out how you want to do that. You have the notes from what I've told other people about that. But if you want to go towards, player abilities and then kind of move into more combat integrated things, then we can touch base on that at a later date once you solidify where you want to go at.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the portfolio. Okay, Vasco Cruz, got the name up here in the corner. If you can, I would actually put your title up here next to your name as well, gameplay programmer.
Oh.
For your portfolios, or change projects to portfolio.
Okay. Okay.
Portfolio is what you want to use to represent yourself. Project is more so, hey, these are the projects that I just want to keep on the page, but don't really represent me anymore.
Okay. 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 That's good.
And then Kenny, are you still in the chat? I know it's been 2 hours so far, but you are up next, and you will be the last one to get your portfolio reviewed if you're still in the chat.
Prepare yourself.
See, I always think that I can do these things in about 30 minutes to 45 minutes,
yeah.
but it never goes that way.
And the first one's always very long.
Yeah. So I hope that leading up to your position in the critique, you get a lot of info from those beforehand that you can apply to yours. Okay, cool. So in the navigation bar, I really don't recommend that you have each individual project listed on this. I think this happens automatically, depending on how you add these.
Yes.
but just have portfolio and then these projects right here. No need to have these up here, so remove those. And then Kenny said he's been taking notes for the whole stream. That's good to hear.
Yeah, me too. Me too, man.
Good.
It's the way to go.
I would recommend. I got too many tabs open here.
I have 240 tabs open right now.
My God, man.
Most of it is LinkedIn.
I would recommend on your portfolio that you have some type of aesthetic to it. So you can have a white background, that's fine. I always recommend having like a little minimalist background, repeating texture. Makes it look a little bit more pleasing to the eyes. It's a minor thing, it's whether you want to or not. But I did notice that you...
Okay. Do you have, let me think. Do you have a setting on your browser that automatically makes things go on to white mode or clear mode? Because I had that problem with my browser that makes everything automatically dark mode. And I was seeing everything dark. So I thought, okay, this is how I want my background to be, dark. Mm-hmm. And then I switched to another browser I had that had no settings automatically done. Mm-hmm. And everything was white. And I was like, what do you mean everything's white? The whole background is dark. And then I figured out that my colors from the side, I'm using Squarespace for this, not Wix. Mm-hmm. And I went to check and the background was indeed white. It's just that the settings on my browser were making them dark. So I've changed them to dark, but they still, I just went and checked on YouTube, mm-hmm. on the live stream. They're white on your screen. So I don't know if I've somehow reverted that back, but the intention, this is all to say, yes, the intention is to have this dark, the shades of dark in my background.
Okay. So
if it shows up white, it might be an error on my end. It might be a browser issue. Web design is so annoying. From somebody in IT that it breaks the settings on different browsers, different monitor screens. Like, it's super annoying. So it might be a problem with that. But the intention is, as you said, shades of dark as a theme mm-hmm. for the entire website. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And then with the layout here, I would give each of these their space to shine. So right now they're all on the same row and they're all kind of competing with one another.
Okay.
So if you have like a column method where I have mine like cascading just downwards. And then if we go back to Beta's profile, he has, a grid look that can also work. But just give your thumbnails a little bit of room to breathe.
I would also like to try and get the fade effect of getting I hover over the mouse, this small description shows up like you and Beta have on your respective portfolios. I want to try to get that. I haven't figured out how that works in Squarespace. Might be a reason to switch to Wix.
You said it, not me. One of the things I always advocate for Wix because I have tried Squarespace. I tried it 3 times and I just couldn't get the details that I wanted because I think Squarespace is a commerce-based portfolio site or a portfolio-based site where you have pictures and photography and film, but not for the complexities of game development. So Wix gives you that easy interface to use and then you can get started up as quickly as Squarespace. But Wix allows you to mix and match and customize in a lot more depth than Squarespace does.
Yeah.
So
I've seen some demo reels of how Wix works. It does show itself to be more deeper. It shows itself to be deeper in customization than Squarespace. It's just that I had a massive discount on Squarespace when I try to make the website. I can technically make this all for free. Because I have a bachelor's in IT and focused on web design, so I know how to make a website. But I was like, it's a portfolio. I'm not going to spend 2 months making this from scratch. Makes it. They don't care. They don't care that the gameplay programmers spent 2 months making a website in HTML, C++, and PHP and JavaScript. So yeah,
that was a smart
that's why I
decision.
went with this.
Okay, so back to the navigation bar. Once you remove these, it should get rid of this more bar. There should be a setting on here that says don't do this.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, yeah, so don't do more. And then your contact and your about, you can actually just combine those. Nice. Then about.
In about, there's a button for you to download the CV, and then there's the entire CV below it if you don't want to download it. Just keep scrolling and the entirety of the CV. I don't know if the letters are probably too big, but the entire CV is below. You don't have to download if you don't want to risk putting anything on your computer then you're not 100% sure on the source.
Okay, I'm not seeing the resume scroll or the resume when I scroll down.
Are you in about or in contacts?
I'm in about.
And you don't have, do you see the button?
Yeah.
And there's nothing below it like CV/resume education, all in text. Let me see the YouTube.
Yeah, nothing showed up on the bottom.
Can you go back to it? So I just reached the YouTube.
Okay,
yeah, no, that's it right there.
Okay, you're talking about this right here. Okay.
This right here, this text right here is the CV. What you download is exactly like this, but it's formatted in the PDF.
I see, gotcha.
That is the CV.
Okay.
Sorry, my description wasn't the best.
Then Gabrielle said, thank you so much for these streams, Tyvik. Your work is tremendously helpful. Can you talk a little bit more about the difference between gameplay programming and technical game designer? Okay. So a gameplay programmer is going to be working more in C++. A technical game designer will probably be doing scripting with slight C++ here and there, depending on where you work at. A gameplay programmer is mainly going to be working on the 3 C's, which is character, camera, and control for the player. And then those are the base core foundation systems that actually drive the player to move, to traverse, to take animations, to interact with the world, the very deeply rooted low level functionality of the player character itself. That's the 3 C's. Highly important to the game feel of the game, highly important to make sure that they design a platform to where the designers and the technical game designers can actually utilize that foundation and platform to then make abilities, weapons, items, and so on and so forth. So technical game designer, that can mean different things at different studios. There is the technical game designer that is supposed to be a liaison between art and programming, or art and scripting. And then they support the development cycle by making debug tools and making sure that everybody is up to date on what's going on, and that they support the development pipeline as much as they can by making tools and scripts and debug and whatever they can to support the team. So it's very much more technical engineering role. And then the other side of technical game designer is to create gameplay, which is player abilities, items, interactivity, prototyping, set up systems. Maybe you make a new weapon, maybe you make a new magical ability, something of that sort. Technical game designers do a lot, but depending on which studio you go to, your results may vary with that role.
And it's that same old situation of, yes, gameplay programmer focuses on this, but they will help with a myriad of things. They will help with animation programming, AI programming, audio programming if need be. They might not be focused on it, but there's the studios are a group of people. They will communicate. So you can see outside from a lot of reports of, oh, I'm a gameplay programmer, I've done AI here, I've done this here. But there's always a focus and then a branching amount of things that you can also help out at. So it is good for somebody who's trying to get into the industry to showcase, hey, my focus is this. I also know a little bit of this. so I can get into a team and start talking with other people and not be completely short-sighted by, oh wait, I don't know any about that, I just know this specific very small thing. So it's good to specialize, but always be aware that it's a group of people working on a single project, not oh, I do my part, then I send it to you, you do yours, and then he sends it to them, and they do. No, it doesn't work like that. That's not, like, I've had multiple people that tell me this before I actually realize, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's multiple people. It's not one guy doing a bunch of things and then sending to another guy doing a bunch of things.
Well
So
said.
I was doing that mistake until I finally realized, yeah, I need to specialize, but it doesn't mean I can't know other stuff.
Very true. Okay, one thing that I would tell you right here is you don't necessarily need this right here, because every time, or you don't need to have your resume details on the web page itself under your download button.
Yeah.
You don't need to have that, because every time you change your resume, you're going to have to go back to your website and then change the text and so on and so forth, and it's going to be formatted a lot differently. And you have to adhere to the text structure of this text box, whereas your resume, you might have some kerning and some extra flair going on inside your resume.
Yep.
So
Okay, perfect. Done.
and then what I would also recommend for you as well is to download this template of my resume before I get. I guess I just can't get rid of the bar up top. Download this template of my resume before I got into the industry.
I have it.
Okay, cool. This template is not just so I can give you all a template. It actually has kerning, it has spacing, it has text sizes and fonts in there that'll allow you to place the most amount of words on the page that you can to keep it a single page, but still have enough space to properly advocate for yourself.
Okay.
Then I do understand that I do have education at the top. I need to remove that.
I have the one you downloaded right now, I believe, is still the one with education at the top, but I've also changed that since you said it. Yeah, I already got a copy of that with the education at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, I'll need to modify that at a later date. I should have been more aware of that.
I also read all the comments below that post with the recruiters saying, oh, maybe change a little bit of this, maybe change a little bit of that. A few of the changes I put in mine were because of the comments below.
Cool. Okay. Vasco Cruz, gameplay programmer. Got your info over there. Great. Got your phone. Education, bachelor's in information technologies, master's in computer science, faculty of science, University of Lisbon. Okay, I don't know why I couldn't say that. Okay. Programming, Python, Java, C++, JavaScript, and you're most well versed in Python and Java.
I'd say from amount of time I've had with them, yes, I'd say I'm most well versed with those, because most of my bachelor's was that, and a lot of my master's was also a little bit of that, mostly that, and then C++ was almost entirely, the level I have right now is also almost entirely my own attempt, my own focus on learning it, but I did learn a little bit in the master's.
Okay. Depending on which role you go for, you're going to want to put C++ at the top.
Okay.
Depending on what they're asking for. So put that first. Mathematics. Okay. So when you say mathematics and video game development, that doesn't really tell me anything.
Okay.
Well, I guess since you did go to get a computer science degree, I think if I was a recruiter, I would want to know more about the video.
Maybe specify
video game
3D
development
math.
side.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, 3D math, right? Mathematics and video game development. I can specify gameplay programming, which is a lot of what I did in college. So,
Okay. Perfect.
okay.
And then right under that, you have game development relevant coursework, which
Yeah.
X's out video game development, anyways.
Okay.
Okay. Design AI to play a video game. Cool. Design and develop a sample video game. Okay. So you never, unless you're like top tier and you're like, I'm a badass, I know my stuff, you never want to quantify your skills with what you post on here. So what does good
Okay.
knowledge in C, C++, C# mean?
Okay. That was mostly from somebody else's evaluation of me. That is the problem I have with a lot of this, and the problem I have also when I read requirements online for job postings. Strong 3D math, and I look at it and I'm like, what is that? Am I that? Or is that much higher than me? I can't even conceive what that means. And so since I read that online, and I also in the recruitment pages, job postings, and they also don't provide any context as to what strong or proficient C++ means. I never thought much of it when putting it in my skills on my CV, but I also always came back at it like, I'm saying I have good knowledge of C++, but how do they know what that means? How do they know what I know? They don't. So it's always this back and forth of they do it, so I do it. But then also, but I don't know if I should be doing this because then they don't know what I mean. I always think, okay, maybe they'll just read it. They'll see, oh, C++ is on the curriculum. And then that's what the interview process is for them to see if I actually know what I'm doing or if I'm just lying in my CV to get an interview. But since I haven't gotten any interviews, maybe that's also part of the problem.
Yeah, it's best for them to speculate rather than tell them or to quantify yourself, because you may be looking at yourself lower than what they are looking at you. So they're like, okay, this guy is like an 8 out of 10 on programming, and then you mark yourself as a 4 out of 10 on programming, or you just shot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
So just get rid of good knowledge in, and then just have C, C++, C#, Python, Java.
Should I remove also the strong gameplay programming skills, since I'm quantifying it as quantifying it? No, qualifying it as strong. Just write gameplay programming skills. That's it. You in the interview will evaluate if I'm strong or not. But
yes.
Okay. I'll also change it in the LinkedIn. I have strong 3D math there. I'll just leave 3D math.
Okay. And then 1+ years of blueprint visual scripting experience. Okay. Now the way that I would format this, because you have your skills and your software in under the same umbrella.
Okay.
What do I have it up there? Here it is. Or no. What did I do with that? Here we go. So in the resume that you see right here, this is my old one, I have my scripting languages and I have my software that I use. This explicitly states what I know and then the software that I'm accustomed to using. And it's under different categories.
Okay. I'm reading it now as well. Rereading it. I've already gone through it multiple times. Is there any, and I'm asking you this from your own experience, is there any actual value for me putting like Word and Excel and PowerPoint as a gameplay programmer? Or is that more a designer point of view?
You can just put Microsoft Office or Microsoft 365.
Okay.
No, documentation is great for anybody and everybody.
Okay.
And you'd be surprised how many people have to be taught how to use a Word doc and Google Sheets and Excel and presentation.
Okay. I'm sick of those. I have to work with them so many times. I'm already sick of them, but that's some experience, I guess.
Yeah, so it's like stuff that we take for granted, but some people just simply don't know how to use those programs. And then your experience with the whole template thing, these words are a little bit too big and the spacing is a little bit too much, so you can definitely fit some more text in there.
I wouldn't know what to write though.
Just take note at what I wrote on that template on how to market yourself, and then you'll start to pick up the word jargon that I'm using.
Yeah.
So
A
it's
lot of
just
the word
something to
jargon
take a
you
study.
use. Oh, okay, okay. Because a lot of the jargon that you use is very performance focused,
And that's what it
and
needs to be.
yeah, and I have to start documenting for myself how I do in those areas as well, because I haven't paid. I also obviously I have to work on those areas, but I haven't paid much attention to them, and I have to start documenting that better and being aware of what I'm actually doing in that area.
You don't need to document it. It's not that deep. Now, if we go back to, and I'm gonna tell you it's not that deep because it's really not. And you're talking about the percentage numbers that I have on here.
Yeah, yeah.
Just put the numbers of what you think.
Okay.
Like that's
Will
essentially what it
do.
is.
Will do.
And I'm not lying,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm
No,
not
no, no.
trying
I
to
understand.
take actual metrics.
Yeah, it's not an exact science of, oh well, we verified that the amount of memory spent was 0 point God knows how many megabytes or gigabytes lower, and the execution time, the runtime was also much more stable. Yeah, I understand. It's a more a generalized view of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get it. Gotcha. Good.
Cool.
I'll have to put that in.
Okay. All right, let's go back to your portfolio. And then I'm going to give you about 5 more minutes here. Then I'm going to jump over to Kenny, or 5 more minutes, and then allow you to ask one more question and then jump over to Kenny. So, Kenny, be ready.
So,
I know you've been waiting for a while.
Focus on one. If we had to focus on one, I'd say cubic is the more representative of what I'm doing. But the one you're at, the little rogue, is my most focused. It was exclusively AI. This one was more, I had to do most of the work. I had a lot of things I had to do. And so it can seem a bit generalized and not specialized in terms of, oh, this is the area he's focused on, because I did most of it. So what I didn't do was assets that already exist online. So the more focused was the AI one, the more recent and this best describing work I've done of what I can do right now is the cubic one.
Okay. Okay, so I'm looking at this, scrolling through it, a lot of big pictures, not a lot of words, more pictures, more pictures. All of this looks good, it's eye-catching, but I don't really know what's going on. The first time I get to let me see, come up here, there's a picture. It's best to always have a video at the top so I don't have to scroll down to actually see the showcase of your project.
Okay.
So I'm scrolling down. I don't know the context of these photos. Code is good, but only if it really supports what you're trying to get across.
Okay.
Because a recruiter's looking through here, they're not thinking of like, oh, this is some great code, because they don't even know what the hell they're looking at. But
Yeah.
if you get to the team and they look at it, they're going to be able to understand what they're looking at. But they're like, what was the output? What was the result of this code right here? Like, show me that first.
Okay.
So this is a supporting statement for a powerful statement shown by a GIF or a video.
Okay.
And so the first video that I get to is down at the bottom, right here. It's the health display.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good looking combat. I want to see that at the top. Shooting mechanics. This screenshot right here does not relate to this cubic screenshot right here.
Yeah.
This is a square when I get in here, it's actually shooter mechanics. This screenshot is rad. Immediately lets me know what I'm going to get into. The cube does not, so make sure your thumbnails on your project page accurately display what you're trying to show. I always love me a great grappling hook. Good to see. So yeah, this is the stuff that I want to see at the top. And these segments, you can reduce these segments down short enough to where you'll be able to have them in a GIF format. So 15, go back to Beta's profile. He has GIFs to where you don't even have to, look at some things. And then he has like trailers where he needs to explain a little bit more things, what's going on. So yeah, you have the content here. You clearly have the content. It's just presenting it in a way where I don't have to do too much guesswork is the thing. And then I love seeing the complexity of what you're doing, the level layout, the design, the blueprints. I'm a scripter, I code. So I love seeing those things. I know what's going on. So yeah, I would say describe what you're trying to tell me. Tell me like the top 3 things that make this project advocate you the best. And then after that, you can add any amount of content that you want to further explain the project in the way that you want to.
Okay. So simplify at the top and then add more at the bottom. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then on your contact page, show your beautiful face.
Okay.
And then remember to combine these. Please to meet you. My name is Vasco. Awesome. Cool. Yeah.
Yep. Perfect.
And then for your portfolio, I would say it's great to have a structure. Like, tell me what I'm about to see and then describe what I'm seeing and then summarize what I just seen.
Okay.
That's always the best thing that you can do.
Describe, explain, showcase. Okay.
Mm. Okay, and then that's pretty much what I got for you. You're on the right track.
A lot. That's a lot already.
Yeah, you're on the right track. You're making strategies and master game plans to get your connections up and make sure you're in the right spaces. So keep on doing that. Now it's all about polishing up and self-marketing yourself and developing that skill set to present your qualities and your skill set in the best manner that you can. But you have the content.
Perfect. I still have more content to show. I basically only have 2 questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they're pretty short. One of them is regarding coding. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you noticed when you were scrolling through the Cubic project, there's a lot of blueprints, and that is on purpose. I already knew how to code C++, but blueprints were still very new to me, and I understood that a decent amount of studios were looking for people who also know visual scripting and blueprints, the use of blueprint type programming. Mm-hmm. And so I tried to use this latest project to learn to use blueprints for many aspects. The entirety of my AI is blueprints. There's no C++. Well, technically, there's no C++. I didn't write any C++. I will do a few other smaller things. This is like a 5 to 6 month project. I'm going to do a few more like 1 to 2 week projects. A lot of basic default assets just to showcase maybe a gameplay ability or a level ability or regardless the character situation. Mm-hmm. And my question is, since a lot of focus is on learning C++, should I do these mostly in C++ since I already used Cubic to showcase I know how to use blueprints? And usually the focus is, as a gameplay programmer, you need to be really good at C++. Or is this split of, a little bit of C++, a little bit of blueprints still work?
A little bit of C++, a little bit of blueprints. If you reach out to anybody who does work in Unreal, they'll tell you that they use both. So being able to have knowledge in both and then understand how that relationship is between them and how to get the best use cases out of each one, and then when you use them together is what you need to learn.
Okay. What was my second question? I lost myself in the first one. Oh yeah, it touches on the smaller projects. Should I have, so I'm going to remove the individual projects on my portfolio. It's going to be portfolio and then about, whatever. Should I add a middle section that is, let's call it extras, where I have these smaller 1 week projects just to showcase other stuff that I'm not going to take 2-3 months to make? So it looks really good, but that to showcase I know a little bit of how to develop gameplay abilities or to develop character-focused programming schemes. And then since they're smaller things, just to showcase, hey, I also know how to do these other things. Since they're smaller, not put them on the portfolio, put them on a secondary section called extras or some other sort of smaller things, whatever. I'll come up with a name later. Or should I just focus on, okay, no, keep to the big projects, improve upon what you already have, leave the extras for something else, because they're not going to waste time on so many different things within your portfolio?
It's going to depend what you want. What are you trying to portray when you make those extra projects? Which, hey, I know this, I know that.
They're mostly going to be focused on character programming and abilities. So, just, hey, gameplay programmer, 3 Cs,
Okay.
abilities.
If they're smaller
Mostly that.
projects, yeah, put them on another page. If we go to mine, I have my portfolio right here for my bigger projects, my college projects. And then if they're any smaller than like a medium size, like game jam project, then yeah, you can put them on an extra page where you can just say, hey, extras, or I don't know, maybe you want to make
Smaller
that a
stuff.
blog and break
Okay.
it down or something. Maybe that's the
Okay.
route you go.
Okay, perfect. Of course, I have a billion other questions, but more people need to have their turn, and I'll just keep learning from the remainder, from the following streams, and from what you have to share with us, and other people have to share with us.
All right, sounds good. Well, Vasco, thank you for being on here and also dropping some knowledge and being a good role model for, what to do as far as reaching out to people and going to get answers yourself. So
Thanks, man. It's been awesome being here and talking to you and the people in chat. This is the best in terms of opportunities somebody like me with no deep connections in the industry can have to learn stuff that's very, very important, to learn the mistakes that might be costing the interviews. So I have nothing else to do but thank you. And
of course.
I won't waste any more time. The next person might be very anxious to start, and I'm here talking my ass off. So yeah, thanks so much, and I'll be around. I'll be on the chat now.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Vasco.
Be seeing you.
Okay. Keeney, are you ready? It's so funny after I get done with these streams, because I don't realize that they're going to be going for 3 hours, and I tell people like, hey, I stream for 3 hours. They're like, you stream for 3 hours? And I'm like, yeah. And I just don't think anything about it. Like, doing this is so natural to me, and I love helping out, that I can kind of get lost in the time. And everybody has individual needs, which is why it takes so long, because I have to hear their story, your all's story, to make sure I'm giving the appropriate feedback. So all of this is tailor-made. You can't really put it into a very defined structure. I could, but then maybe we don't touch on that one piece of information that's going to actually get you that job. So for all the people who, want to get their portfolio or the PPR critiqued and they don't have a chance, or, they're like, hey, I'm waiting too long, do realize that this takes time. Everybody has a different situation, and I try my best to make sure that I'm giving you knowledge that best matches your situation. So let's see. See if so I'm gonna go ahead and send this to Kenny to see if he's here. And then if Kenny is not here, then I will end the stream in a few. So give it about 5 minutes. If anybody else, for the, I think 7 people still left in the chat. If you all do have any questions. Oh, there we go. There he is. All right. Cool. There he is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, my man.
All right, sweet. All right, yeah, very excited to be here. very excited. All right. All right.
Okay, I guess my chat is out of sync. That's what's happening right now. So I didn't see you respond. Give me 1 second.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool. Okay, welcome in, Kenny. Thank you so much for waiting for so long to actually get on the screen. These always last a lot longer than I think they will.
Hey, at this point, I've watched I pretty much binged all the episodes up until now. So quite frankly, I did not expect anything less.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad you've been supporting the channel, watching it. Hopefully you've been getting some really good knowledge to help you out here and there.
Yeah, I really have literally all night long. I'm already down to a whole page. So I gotta flip over. I gotta make make a whole new page for for my critique specifically. But all night long, just when I think I know something, something new just always comes up.
Glad to hear it. Okay, well, let's get into it. You know the deal. Kenny, tell me a little bit about yourself, what your goals are, and what you've been up to.
Yeah, so a little bit about myself. So first things first, I'm a graduate, and I graduated actually in 2021 with a game design and development bachelor's degree. And past graduation, I was actually lucky enough to get into the tech industry, specifically for VR and specifically for the VR and XR industry, and pretty much after a year or so, I realized that what I wanted to do specifically, for myself, I really wanted to pivot more into the game industry a little bit, because while I'm very grateful for everything I've learned so far, within my past positions, I realized that with even with virtual reality, the thing I really want to do is actually make games with them.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much I've just been working these last 2 years just trying to really improve my marketing, my skill sets in general, which links me back to that video you made about about putting 20 weeks putting in 20 weeks to, per week towards your skill sets. So I really took that video to heart, and I really I try to apply that each and every other week to specifically towards and this will lead me right into my role, specifically towards technical design specifically, and to be very deep into that. I found myself enjoying a lot of the systems and AI specifically.
Okay.
So I pretty much that's where I pretty much decided where my affinity lies in, because like generally like things like like mini game encounters, setting up like systems for game loops and stuff like that, and artificial intelligence, working, playing around with AI behavior, what they can do, how they affect the player, how they interact with the environment and stuff like that. Really just like it brings like the creativity and enjoyment out of me when it comes to like making those things. So pretty much I've just been working hard to like really pivot my role towards that, and and now that brings me here, which I just want to see if I can like get any feedback and like take the opportunity to actually reach out and get a little bit out of my comfort zone to really just like accomplish those sort of goals. So yeah, that's pretty much the basics of it.
Cool. I love the excitement you have about the AI.
Oh yes, AI.
So
Oh. Like when I first got my hands on that Unity nav mesh during that course I took in college. Like quite frankly, like that's what I told them. I literally told my professor, "You really shouldn't have taught me that. You really shouldn't have taught me that."
and you've been loving it ever since.
Yeah, like literally, like work and like yeah, literally like working with it and like literally just like controlling like the behavior of how like how NPCs work and stuff like that. It's just like it's amazing.
Shoot, I'm glad to hear that. You got a ton of excitement. Love it.
Hmm.
Okay. Living in New York right now. See.
Hmm.
Okay. Good profile pic. And then VDR said nav mesh editing is a hell of a drug.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I remember when I was in QA at Naughty Dog a few years ago, QA actually helped with placing the nav mesh down in the environment.
Hmm.
I can't
Wow.
say I had the best time with it, but it was an interesting puzzle.
Mm. Wow. That's I would ask to get into the details, but I know that there's that little NDA thing attached.
Okay. Okay. I'm a technical game designer with a bachelor's in game design and development, crafting ideas for systems, prototyping mechanics, and working with the latest XR technology drive my passion and fuel my desire to continue to expand my knowledge with the game engines to bring more ideas to life. Okay, I strived to bring these abilities, and these skills to any collaboration to create meaningful player experiences. If there's one thing I learned about myself in this journey, it always pushes me to be better and expand my perspectives. I will never stop striving to create new experiences for players to enjoy. Nice.
And yeah,
So,
literally writing that was like I think yeah, I recently updated that like a little bit a few months ago when I
mhm.
first like when I started like opening myself back up for like applying for like positions and stuff like that. So I really wanted to like come off like you've been saying all stream long, like come off like some sort of a badass.
Mhm.
That really like show that excitement that like, hey, I know how to do this, like I can do that.
Love it. Are you when you say crafting ideas, you've actually crafted systems, prototype mechanics, correct?
Hmm.
Okay, so remove ideas. So
All
you
right.
craft systems, not the idea of crafting systems.
Hmm.
You do this. And then what companies are you striving for?
So pretty much pretty much for companies that I'm striving for. Obviously, I really wanted to get into like any like opening like technical design positions for anyone specifically for anybody that that's hiring for like either systems or artificial intelligence. So like I guess like companies that would lead into that would be like EA, because I know they have a lot of like sub companies that are working on projects. Naughty Dog, Santa Monica, and Sucker Punch. Because like I saw that there was a technical design position opening up there, so I also set that as part of my goal, and
Mhm.
really just anything that pretty much just like that involves like systems or artificial intelligence. I'm really just hoping that there's any like design technical design openings for those for that sort of thing.
Okay. Do you want to go back in with, or do you want to go back into the XR space, AR XR?
At this point, after a good 2 years, probably not. But I'm very optimistic because I know that Meta also exists.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much, so pretty much, if the opportunity opens up, for a place like Meta, like obviously I'm gonna take it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. So what I would say is that the statement that you have right now, crafting ideas for systems, prototyping mechanics, and working with the latest XR technology, drive my
Mhm.
passion. Because you mentioned XR is a very different field from game development or traditional game development since it's new tech. You're working with software and hardware that game industry typically don't work with to make that type of technology. And so you have to make sure that you advocate yourself for like game development and then or you have an affinity towards getting into a technical design position in the game industry, but say that, hey, I also have been dabbling with XR and technology as well.
Okay, got you. Into the industry.
And to give you a different perspective on that, it's like somebody who's mentioning, I've been in mobile games, but I want to go to AAA now. It's like there is an automatic stigma about, okay, well, he's been in mobile development, so his design philosophy is drastically different from AAA. And so the same thing could potentially happen with AR XR because that is an entirely different space and design philosophy from traditional games.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see. I can. Yeah, definitely. I can definitely see that.
And then this sentence is a run on sentence. The sentence is very long, so you can break those down into multiple sentences so that it's not trailing off of the same sentence for the whole time for right here. Then I strive to bring these abilities and skills to any collaboration to create meaningful player experiences. I strive means like you're reaching to do that. You do this. You do this now.
All right.
So there is an element of talking as if you already do the thing that you're trying to get the job for. It's very easy to get into the mindset of, I want to do this in the future, or I strive to do this, or, once I get on a team, I want to collaborate with my team to make the best experience possible. It's like, no, I do this right now. I'm badass right now. I want to elevate my skills of what I'm doing right now with a team, not I need a team to elevate my skills.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because like one thing about me is like whenever I'm working like within teams or so, I guess this relates to like my experience. What I always like try to like for me, I'm a very like I keep myself as humbled as possible, specifically for towards people that like that have been like in a position like longer than I have. So I kind of just like I really take that into perspective whenever I'm whenever I'm describing myself, I guess initially.
And it's good to know that, hey, I'm new here. I'm still learning stuff. But also don't sell yourself short by thinking that you need to join a team to actually properly advocate for yourself.
Gotcha.
So it's like it's a relationship. So you're coming onto the team to be a benefit to them, and then the team needs to be a benefit to you as well. it's not just one-sided. The company that you're applying for is not just like giving you a chance or anything. It's like, hey, I'm bringing something to this table as well. It's not just a one-sided relationship. I'm bringing my skills, and then they're bringing me the platform where I can utilize my skills. Okay, so
Sweet.
if we scroll down, programmer 2, okay, Unity generalist, AR VR Unity developer, nice. Okay, you got the bullet points under here. Focus on serious game development for mobile VR and AR for healthcare. If you can break down or describe what serious game development means, that would be better right here.
Okay.
And I'm not for sure if that's a term that's widely used or your interpretation of it.
Pretty much my interpretation of that was pretty much like, we focus on, we use our skills, like, as game development, towards like, healthcare. So we're using it like for like good reasons to help people, to, produce training simulations, stuff like that, to help people train within the military or medical industry, medical, centers and stuff like that. So that's that's pretty much how I would how I interpret that for the most part.
Okay. And then implemented UI functionality for modules, page transitions, and user inputs. Okay. User inputs, I guess you can translate that to UX. It's like design UI, UX functionality for modules, page transitions, and user inputs.
UX. All right, sweet.
And then Jai just sent me a message. He said, "Thank you, Tyvee. Super appreciate your help. I feel positive and motivated to market myself better. Have a great weekend ahead. Cheers." If you're still watching, hope you have a great week ahead as well. Thank you for being here, and hope that information really helps you out. Looking forward to hearing some positive feedback from you in the future.
It's actually during his stream where I actually took the most notes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good.
It was during his part of the stream where I literally took the most notes. So like, really drilled into those questions right there. Wow.
Perfect. Okay, and then assign the lead programmer. Assign the lead programmer behind 2021 micro game called Healthy Holidays. I like the wordplay.
Yeah. Quick question. Okay, so pretty much, would you count a micro mini game like that, like pretty much like I guess something that's shipped? Because like I know that the word like shipped, like shipped titles, like come up a lot in like job descriptions and stuff like that. But the first thing that comes to mind is, have I released something on Steam or on any game store pages? But does that could that apply for like company websites and stuff like that?
Company, that would be, I think that would be maybe a recruiter question.
Wash your hands.
Oh, you have to, this is for the VR headset.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you design the UI and UX for all of this?
No, no, but no, pretty much just the programming aspects of it.
Okay.
So pretty much the parts that I coded here was pretty much like firing off the event that I hope you heard, like wash your hands. Like I made a sequencer system for this one, a sequencer. Okay. So pretty much it picks random orgs for you to click on, and then after you click on it, it will move on to a new round, and then it will add on another orb, and then reread like the sequence for you, for you to get a reminder. So it's kind of like one of those yeah, one of those memory games you gotta like. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I like being able to just launch that. Oh, that was the page that I needed to backspace on. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. And then for this position right here, King Crow Studio, just make sure that you give a little bit of insight, just like you did down here, about what you're working on. And then one thing that I would recommend for you to do is, since you want to go towards the technical designer route, or you have gameplay programmer up here as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to, okay, I think that's fine. Technical designer. What you can do is that look up application job post and figure out which wordings they use in there, and then incorporate that into the way that you describe what you've actually done down here.
Okay. Yeah.
Because every department has its own jargon and words and whatnot that they use. So if you learn what they use, then you can put that down here to be like, hey, I use the words, I do this. Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, since your resume is first, we're just gonna pop this open right here. And then how do you say your full name?
So basically, my full name is Kenechukwu Umelo.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, I'm Nigerian. So so yeah, that's my Nigerian first name. Yeah. People. Oh, say it again.
Kenechukwu?
Kenechukwu.
Kenechukwu.
Close. You're
Okay.
close with the Chukwu part. Kenechukwu.
Chukwu.
That's it.
Kenechukwu.
Yes. There we go. Yep. You get it.
Kenechukwu.
Ah.
Kenechukwu.
True.
True.
Kenechukwu.
Kenechukwu.
Yes, there we go. Now say it all. I say all that once.
Kenechukwu.
Yes, there we go.
Kenechukwu. Okay.
Yep, there we go. See, that was perfect. That was
Kenechukwu.
perfect.
Okay, cool. And then Umelo or Umelo?
Yep. Umelo. Yep.
Kenechukwu Umelo. That's a cool name, man. Okay.
Yep.
I like that
Yep.
confidence. Yep. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's the name. That's the best thing. You know, when your parents give you your name, and quite frankly, you know, your name carries like some kind of uniqueness to it. Like, quite frankly, like, they already know you're only gonna get one out of this person here. So
That's true. And then VDR Vasco said, "Well, I'd love to stay, but it's 1 a.m. here in Lisbon. Good luck to you, Kenny. Hope you get a lot from the talk. Thank you again, Tavi, for the work you've done. I'll see the rest of the stream tomorrow."
yeah, I definitely got to send him a connection. But yeah, definitely. Yep, I'm definitely getting so much already.
Cool.
Oh man.
Okay, even spelled out the name in the Gmail. They're gonna know the full name. Okay. Cool. Proven to be open-minded, communicative, and willing to experiment new design practices to create unique experiences and fun for others to enjoy. So proven. This is my take. Proven makes it seem like you needed the validation from somebody else to promote yourself right here.
Okay, yeah.
So everything that you speak about yourself comes directly from the source, which is yourself. Skills, language of scripting, properly formatted. Love it. Great. Oculus, Steam VR, Visual Studios, Microsoft Office 365. Cool. Management, Git, Perforce, Plastic Chair, Trello. All great things. B52 VRTP. Collaborated with team programmers, successfully transitioned the existing project to leverage the Unity XR toolkit tools Implement a network game object with a netcode to update events and transform positions for all users connected in a server. Add new training modules and existing framework tools to provide training in specific areas in the scene. Fix securing bugs for post playtesting sessions and QA recaps for Scrum meetings. Cool. As far as the wordplay that you're using, really good.
That was one of the biggest things. Like literally looking at other job applications and looking at past a lot of your content in the past. Like literally, I made sure to like really just like apply that to my resume and not really like kind of like just like make it sound all basic and stuff. Especially when you mention like making it sound like I did it instead of like removing the word task and stuff like that. So yeah, that played heavily into this.
Okay, well you did the thing, man. Like it all looks good.
Exactly, I did the thing.
Man. Okay, Step XR training system. Prototype and design new gun range rooms using the features and assets from the Hurricane VR plugin provided. Okay, took charge in designing the entire gun range menu UI and selection system, allowing the ability to choose room, shootable targets, and 2 guns, weapons to wield. Okay. Contributed towards core gameplay mechanics and implemented new mini games to help provide fun encounters and interactions. Okay. All of that looks good. You're describing yourself really well. One thing that I would say is that I want to see measurable results. So percentages, what impact did you make, and what was the result of that?
Gotcha. Yeah, see percentages. And you mentioned results of and the result impact from that?
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
So like, I made this thing get increased efficiency by 25, 50%, or something of that sort.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Education. How do you pronounce that?
The school name?
Yeah.
Quinnipiac University.
Quinnipiac University. Yeah. It's the first time I'm hearing about that university. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
Oh wow.
Projects Patties Around the World VR, won Best AR VR game. Great that you have the awards. Ergolution won Best Illustration of Impact. Perfect. And then AR Calorie Counter presented at 2020 Tech Starters Up Week in Sacred Heart University. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, the calorie counter. Yeah, that was a fun project. That was fun.
Cool. You have a very versatile background. It's always nice hearing about like AR and VR because that's not my area of expertise. So it's always nice to hear things that go down on that side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very much something I was exposed to when I was at school actually. So yeah, Argulution was actually the project where I got exposed to it. And then quite frankly, I remember having so much fun, like, just like, working on that project over that course of that weekend at Yale University, along with other, people that participate in the hackathon. So it was also the place where I realized my laptop at the time was completely, well, it was completely not compatible with AR and VR. So like it kind of exploded when we first play tested the project. So yeah, that was fun. The files were gone, but we made it. We still won.
Oh, good. It was all worth it then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely made sure to get a new one after that.
Okay, let's go to the portfolio.
All right, sweet.
Okay, so boosting it up here. Let's see. Home games of the project's about. Very simple and clean. Now this is just personal preference on my part, but I like the navigation bar to be at the top.
Okay.
it seems like you're losing a lot of space by this photo up here. This photo is for design flair. It's not really telling you anything, but that's me.
Navigation to the top. Oh yeah. I made that reel a long time ago. Wow. Yeah, this was actually something. Yeah, this was actually an idea that I got from my career class that I took senior year. Yeah, I don't like literally my game design program at Quinnipiac was like literally like 3 years old when I got there.
Mm-hmm.
So when I took the career class, one of the professors recommended, show off a reel when people first get to your page, because they want to see immediately what you're all about and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
so yeah, I took that. Yeah, so I was able to like whip this up, and I think in After Effects, and then
Okay.
yeah.
Oh wow, you made this for a game jam too.
Oh yes. Oh
Okay.
yeah, and yeah, that was oh yeah. I remember not being too satisfied with that one, but I kind of just threw it on there just because.
Okay. Well, if you're not confident in about any type of a project that you make, then
Hmm.
don't display it as
Yeah.
your highlight. Whack-a-mole in VR. That sounds so damn fun.
Yeah, it was the creativity. Like, with virtual reality, like, you take a lot of these, like, real life scenarios of things that you could possibly do. And
Mhm.
then, like really just like throw a whole creative blanket all over it. And yep, that was my proudest project. I
Hmm.
literally, I enjoyed working on that one because like it relates a lot to like what I love, to my favorite food, which is beef
Hmm.
patty. So I made a cooking game, based around it for my senior capstone. And yeah, I got positive feedback, but unfortunately, for it was during around COVID season, so people couldn't really play test it much. But
Hmm.
for those that did, they were able to give me some really good feedback on it.
Okay. What I would say for your demo reel is that you said this is your proudest one, but it's the last one.
Yeah,
So I think the chronological order of your project. So this one is in 2018, right?
pretty much. Yeah,
2018.
2018
Then that one's in
to
2020, and then this one is, or the last one is in 2021.
hmm
So if that's your proudest project, you want to show that out first, and then show off the whack-a-mole thing, and then this, and then if you're not too happy about this project, the barbershop, then just go ahead and get rid of it.
hmm All right, sweet.
Now, when I get to your home screen, the demo reel is great, but I would much rather see your projects up front or your portfolio,
Okay.
because game developer reels I have to take time investment into, and you have to really doctor up these game design reels in order to capture your audience. And that's another skill in itself. So if you just get me to the games page and then I can see the thumbnails of what you're working on, then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like this thumbnail looks great. This thumbnail looks great. Ooh, what is this? Okay. Now I'm interested. But you have to make me interested when you make a demo reel,
hmm
and you have to soup it up pretty strongly in order to have a great demo reel.
Gotcha.
So it'll be easier for you to sell yourself through your projects themselves rather than your demo reel. Then we click on this. I like the theming of this. Parallax scrolling in the background, cool.
Hmm.
Okay, showcase the award that this won. That's great. Okay, got the gifts, the pictures. That's good. Then the itch.io page. A lot more photos. So I would tell you that I want to see more GIFs of the different gameplay mechanics in here
Okay.
and what this game is about. It's interesting. It has the color aesthetic. It's bright. I want to see more GIFs, more breakdowns. What were you thinking about? What different types of food items can you use? Like just chopping up the potatoes right here. That looks cool. Like show me that in GIF format. Like you can chop potatoes. You can make sandwiches. You can put them in the toaster. You can, deep fry stuff. Like all of that is very interesting. But show me that in GIF format down below.
All right. Breakdown. I've come a long way since that prototype. uh,
Okay. And then the text is a little the text looks like it's all in bold, which is kind of hard to parse. It's very extreme on the eyes when you look at it for a while, and it's a lot of text. So what I would say is that if you can condense the amount of information that you're talking about. So for game design, you can have this paragraph right here where you're explaining what it is, and then have bullet points for the rest of these things so that I can consume that in bite-sized pieces.
all right. Bullet points. There we go. All right. All right.
And then give your video some space to breathe. So like if we go to my website, like the video is pretty much going to the edges of this column right here.
Ah.
So you wanna be proud of that.
Showcase it a little bit more. Give it a much more wider look. Gotcha.
I really like the theming of this page. You're playing off of the colors in the game. That's great. Yeah, I do think this image up top that you have is kind of destroying the portal that you just sent me through with decorating this page. So maybe get rid of that so that you can like fully be immersed in this page.
All right.
Then I would change games to portfolio.
All right. Change games to portfolio. All right. Sweet.
And then I would say for Ergolution that you need to really solidify what you want the watcher to see. VR is awesome when you're in it and you have the sticks in your hand and you're transported, but anybody watching, they have to know what's going on, and if they don't understand what's going on, then the video falls flat, which I think is falling flat right now because there's no explanation. If I was in the thing, then I'm pretty sure I would know what was going on and things would be like fun and captivating, but you have to fill in the blanks for the people watching.
Gotcha. So with something like pretty much just like narrating like through the video or so like provide a much more like clearer visual of what's going on.
Yeah, describing and then clear visuals. So clear visuals will be like action items that happen within the VR experience themselves that you can highlight. So you have the seeds that fall down from the trees. That's a highlight. You have going over to pick them up. That's a highlight. What do I do when I get the seeds? That would be a highlight. Oh, I'm planting another tree. That's a highlight.
Got it. All right. Sweet. Okay.
So I got that from watching this video just now as I'm talking about it. But in the age of us all having attention spans less than a goldfish, you really need to make sure that you're getting that information across as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And then more breakdowns on what you've done here. So, tell me, what were some of the things you ran into? What are your highlights, your proudest moments of, what you had to do? All of those things. Like, I want to learn more about this project. So tell me. And then what I mean by that is if we go to Call of Duty Warzone, I'll talk about a breakdown of an event called Deal Gone Wrong, where I was responsible for getting AI up and running on the net. And then I tell my ownerships of that project and describe a little bit about what it was. Because this was online, I was able to
because they're so focused
have
on the
people
rooftop, and that's
play it.
pretty easy to take out.
And then, that's the event that I created. And so all of these elements come together to appropriately tell the reader what it is I'm actually watching and what I did.
Okay. Wow. Well, first off, that's cool. But yeah.
It's pretty jarring, and I don't think I still ever came to grips with, hey, millions of people have played this. Still doesn't translate. Okay. Now, contributions.
Mm-hmm.
Switch that around with ownerships.
So pretty much rename it to something like ownerships.
Yes, because you didn't you contributed, but words like contribution. Listen, man, I've been talking for the last 3.5 hours.
I understand. I understand. Take your time. I understand. Literally.
Okay. Okay, let's try this one more time. So words like contributed, helped, assisted, tasked, it all makes it seem like you're a peon who just done something just because, or you assisted very little in the project itself. But no, this is your project. You had ownership over this area. This was what you were supposed to do. Own that. So get rid of any words that make it seem like you're tasked with, you're helped with, you're assisting. No, I did the thing. I do this.
Sweet.
It might have to come my tagline. I do this. Huh.
Oh yeah, I definitely did all this.
Cool. Yeah, then tell me that. And think of it this way. You are not showing up for yourself if you don't accurately portray whatever it is you've done. Then click here to view coverage.
Think if you scroll up. Oh yeah, you might. I think my name is right there at the end.
Yeah, I see it right here. So what I would do is I would actually snapshot this. I would snapshot all of this. If you're on Windows key Shift S, take a snapshot of that, and then take a snapshot of the page as well. Put that in your portfolio, and then if the reader wants to go to that, then they can click on the link.
Oh, okay.
Cause you really want to be careful with putting links in your portfolio because, as I said, we all have attention spans of goldfish nowadays. The recruiters are only going to give you so much time when it comes to looking at your portfolio. And any type of external link that you place in your portfolio means that they can exit your portfolio and never come back.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, definitely did not want to have that issue, especially, thank God for Wix for giving us the option to go to another web page once we click on something. Like, I understand that annoyance to a degree.
Hmm.
Right. And these. Funny enough, Vasco mentioned it on the during his stream. If we should like start, if we should if someone like me that wants to be like technical design with with systems and AI, that if we should like throw in our small like prototypes and scripting projects in there, or whatnot, because like that, I think that's an idea that I found when I was looking through some other portfolios for people who were in positions that I want to be in. I saw this one that had a page for all the scripting work that that he or she has done, and I really wanted to like show, oh, okay, since I'm the type of person that likes to like build these build out small systems over like a week or two, because like I do like to do like a lot of like short-term projects. I'm not very high keen on like long term. Long term here and there, because like with me and my creative brain, there's just like there's just so much like that I just really want to like experiment. I thought it would be best to like really just like show it off and then talk about my process, my approaches and what I learned, and really just expose myself to areas that I certainly didn't know at first.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was kind of the the idea behind this behind this page right here.
Okay, yeah, then keep it going. This is good stuff to see. You have the gifts there, so I don't really have to click on anything. You have the information there in a bite-sized format, which I can read.
Sweet.
I would be interested. Oh, okay, so there's more pictures here. I'll see. That's cool stuff. So what I would do, yeah, I would not know that was there at all unless I actually scroll over this. That's good looking stuff right there. So I would maybe do like a gallery view of, or just like expose all the images that you have. You don't need a slideshow right here just to condense the space. If you want to have another projects page, you can like give it the space that it needs, and then you can just keep on stacking projects under it. And then if it's a little bit too big, then you can just make it its own page. But there's a lot of stuff here that looks good, that you can really use to boost up your portfolio. And I would have never seen all of this stuff if I didn't hover over it.
Gotcha.
Okay, then about page, picture of yourself. Cool. About me. Thanks for checking out my portfolio. My name is Kenneth. You can remove that. That just remove thanks for checking out my portfolio.
Okay.
Because the reason I say it is that it's well intentioned, but it smells of newness,
Mm-hmm. Thanks for checking.
So I'm a technical designer with a bachelor's in game design and development, crafting ideas for systems, prototyping mechanics, and working with. Okay, so this is the same thing in the about section. Cool. I already gave you the information for that. I try to continue this path of learning, whether by taking part in game jams, teaming with other talented developers, or continuously creating prototype projects for that satisfying feeling of completion and understanding. I will always bring this energy at the end goal, as the end goal is always delivering the best player experiences. If there is one thing I learned about myself in this journey, is it always pushes me to be better and expand my perspectives on game design. I will never stop striving to create new experiences for players to enjoy. I'm currently looking to seek employment. Okay. So you can go ahead and remove I am currently looking to seek employment as well.
Okay.
If somebody's here, they know that.
All right.
And then I would also be wary of I strive to continue this path of learning, whether by taking part in game jams, teaming with other talented developers, or continuously creating prototype projects. If you have a goal of getting into something like more AAA or meta, then reading this, I'm like, okay, well, he's happily fine with doing game jams and, you know, creating prototypes and projects. Prototypes is a great word to use, but what greater goal above yourself are you learning all of this for is what I'm missing.
Mm.
So you're telling me you're doing the work to keep your skills sharp, but you're not telling me the result of what you ultimately want from that.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay, then you have your socials on there at the bottom. That's always great.
Yeah, got my links and everything set.
And then just to reiterate, I would. So wait a minute. On your LinkedIn profile, where did it go at? So on your LinkedIn profile, you have gameplay programmer, technical designer.
Mm-hmm.
On your portfolio, you have game programmer and technical designer.
Yeah.
Easy thing to miss, but consistency.
So is it is it okay to like keep those like two roles, or like should I just like pretty much just like pick a much more defined one?
Well, do you know enough information about where you want to go to pick one?
In terms of in terms of yeah, pretty much yeah, yeah, for pretty much I like, for technical design I definitely know where I want to be with that one.
Mm-hmm.
And for AI, I would usually think, yeah, for AI, yeah, that would also be kind of like it's the programming part as well.
Okay. I don't have a solid answer for you because I'm not within the AI space. And
Ah,
especially with someone from your background who has been on the technical side of AR, VR, I'm not for sure which role would be proper for what you're trying to do. So what I would do is I would reach out to at least 3 recruiters and try to get their take on what you should
all right.
pursue.
Reach out to 3 recruiters. All right, definitely gonna make note of that one. Definitely make a note of that. All right.
And then just to reiterate, I would change games to portfolio, and then I would, this section up here, I feel like this is like an auto-populated section or something. Make sure you remove the healthy holidays part up here, or just have it be just one healthy holidays. Or you know what? Change this whole page to portfolio, and then have healthy holidays as your most recent one, but put this under the same category as all of these. So get rid of the personal projects and the professional projects, and then just put them all in one group.
Okay. Put all these all these games in one group. All right. All right. Now I think about it, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. All right. Sweet.
And then I want to go to this page first because you have some great thumbnails. They look interesting. I want to click on them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can put demo reel on this tab, but I can choose to opt in to watching your demo reel. And you're more likely to change info on your project pages rather than render out a new video because you need to make a slight tweak or something.
Gotcha.
So this is it right here. Focus on all of these.
All right. I'm not sure if you scrolled all the way to the bottom on the games page. Also put a link to my itch.io page. Is that necessary or
It's an IO.
yeah? Because I do have like a lot more of my stuff on that one. I went in with the mindset of like quality over quantity of projects.
Okay, if you're gonna, let me see. What's the best take here? Yeah, so I wouldn't know about these unless you actually put them on your portfolio. If this is your space to accurately market yourself and you want to show all that you have to offer, then I would make sure that they're all on this portfolio.
Okay.
So if you want to in other projects, you can say, hey, I have a whole lot of other games that I've made on itch.io. Feel free to check these out. If you don't want to add each individual one to your portfolio, but you have to make it known somehow that, hey, I've done a lot more stuff. Or what you can do is you can make an itch.io thumbnail right here. And then it can be like, hey, these are all the other itch.io projects that I've made. And then it just links you to the itch.io page.
Oh, wow. That sounds clever. I like that one. All right, sweet. Got that.
Okay, other than that, everything is looking good, man.
Yeah, thank you.
And then, yeah, just reach out to the recruiters to kind of see what role or specialization fits best for your particular skill set.
Yeah, because definitely, I did like kind of like struggle with that one, most of all for a little bit, and then when you posted the I think what's the role title specialization chart, we have all those roles like listed and selected. I kind of like took a really like deep look at that and like really just like resonated with these last 2 years, what I've been doing at these jobs, and what do I love doing on the side. And it kind of helped me like choose like specifically what I wanted to like get into a little bit more.
Shoot, let's let you know I have another more comprehensive sheet coming out with titles and specializations and roles. So
definitely look forward to that one
in the near future.
Wow, thank you. I'm really glad I'm the first to hear that. Yeah, because definitely the first one helped.
I'm glad to hear that. So yeah, this one should be a lot more easier to parse through. Plus descriptions. Okay, so kinetiku. Kinechuku.
Yep,
Kinechuku.
Yep. Like yep. I understand for newcomers, it takes practice. It takes practice.
Okay. There's like some type of like,
yeah,
I guess tongue movement that I'm just not getting. Like I just like phonetics. I just.
Nah, it's all good.
Okay.
Kinechuku. There we go. Yeah, see, that was good.
Okay. So Kinechical. If there's any other questions that you have before we get out of here.
Yep, I know you've been up here for like a good 3 hours or so. So I'm just gonna make this very brief. So pretty much for technical interviews, and this will be my only one for technical interviews. How do you like usually prepare for that? Because I remember like during my last like 2-year course of like just trying to like apply for places, and when I usually do get into them, I usually get hit with a little bit of nerves around them, in terms of like preparing for like what's to come up and stuff like that. So like, it kind of just so I really wanted to like get a little bit of some advice on that end.
Okay. I panic. And then I kind of come back to. Now, it's because you're coding. Now, sometimes you have to like code like real time.
Mhm.
I haven't needed to do like the extremely like critical like 3D math, vectors, quaternions. I I haven't needed to do any of that. I have had to have tech test. If you're going for like the more designer roles, or if you find yourself in a designer role, maybe there is some type of technical test, but it's mixed in with design, so it's not as like heavy on C++ or 3D maths. But the way that I prepare for that, and most of the time, depending, they'll give you a take-home test where you can actually, research, look online, find the answers, and then take the test and then send it back. And then once you pass that during the interview, then they'll do whiteboard and whatnot with you on your code to see how it can be improved and be better. Or if you messed up in a certain section, they'll say, "Hey, we noticed that you did it in this section. What was your reasoning behind that?" And then you have to just kind of work on the fly. So all it is, well, not all it is, but what I would say is that freak out a little bit, let your body go through that, because it is anxiety inducing to be on the spotlight like that and have to take a test. And usually it's something that you haven't even done. But I promise you, if you just step back, reread the prompt 10 times so you actually understand, and I'm not kidding, 10 times so you actually understand what you're doing,
Mhm.
and then start to break it down piece by piece. Maybe you don't know how to do it, but if you break it down piece by piece, then you can work through it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's just kind of coming to terms with that initial shock and being like, okay, they gonna make me learn something today, but it's all right. It's cool. I'm freaking out a little bit. Ooh. Okay. All right. Okay. I got it. I'm good. Okay. Just let me read it, and it's all good. Let yourself go through that process, and then tackle it.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. See, see, if it's for places that you actually want to be in, I have a funny feeling that it is 10 times more anxiety inducing, because like you're at the second step, and like quite frankly, like uh, it's just something that literally that I folded to like quite a few amount of times. So uh, like if I could just like take the advice and literally just like allow myself to like not hide my panic,
Mm-hmm.
instead of like just expressing it and then like calming down, then I think I would have been able to get through a good amount, a good chunk of them at least.
Mm-hmm.
Like like specifically towards those that I obviously know the answer to, but my brain farts every time I if I especially if I'm taking it in front of people over Zoom.
One of the things too, I told this to a combat designer who wanted his first job in the industry. He was like, I haven't really gotten any jobs and any traction. And then 2 weeks later, after he talked to me, he was like, "Hey, Tyvek, I got an interview." And he was like, "Can I have a chat with you before I get into my interview?" And I was like, "Sure." And so he's like, "I'm nervous. I really don't know what to do." And I was like, "You know what?" I was like, "Here's what you do. When you go into an interview, you set the pace for the interview. The interviewers don't set it. So you're not on a time clock. You don't have to respond super fast to whatever they say. If they ask you a question, you have time to think about it and then respond. Or if you need a little bit more time, this isn't really a pen in my hand right now, but you have some time to respond, so you can be like, "Hey, ooh, that's a good question. Like, give me a second," and then you can just like have your notepad and be like, "Let me, I'm gonna write this down right quick. Let me think about it." And then you can, panic a little bit while you're writing this down. Be like, "Oh my God, what the hell am I doing? I don't know what to do." And then catch your composure, and then start to really figure things out. So you don't have to respond immediately. Get that into your mindset, and then if you do get like stopped or you reach a dead end or an obstacle, remember that the interview is a collaboration, not an interrogation. If it's an interrogation, then that says something about the company culture, and then you have to question whether or not you want to work there. But some people just like to play hardball in interviews. But you can ask questions. It's not going to disqualify you. If you need clarification or you need a boost in a direction, then that shows that, hey, he doesn't know the answer, but he asked and he was proactive about it. And then if you get that answer back from them and then you're able to move forward and progress through the problem, then that means a lot more than somebody who's just like, oh, well, I don't know this. I'm going to freeze up. Perseverance through those and calming your nerves is going to help you a lot in understanding that you dictate the flow of the interview, not them.
Yeah, thank you for that. Like that's good to know. Thank you. Definitely, definitely. If I there's a good chance like I probably will reach out if I get to that step, the next technical, if I get to that next step in the interview process, because that's been the number one that's been the number one thing that's always tripped me up, and quite frankly, just like hearing your advice with that it really does help.
Yeah, get rid of that word if. When.
When.
There we go.
There we go. When.
You do
when
this.
I get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do that. Yeah, I do this. I do this all the time. Hell yes, I do this. Yeah, so when I get that interview, yeah, I'll definitely reach out.
Be looking forward to it.
All
right.
Damn.
Kinechiku.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a small naming session before we proceed. Like okay, no, when you say it slowly, like literally, you got it correct. I think it's just you just got to practice like saying it at a quick pace because quick pace, that's understandable because a lot of people trip up with that one. So
Kinechiku.
Yes, Kinechiku. Yep. Now say it quickly.
Kinechiku.
Yep. Yep. Just keep repeat. Okay. Yeah, just keep repeating that.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna have to nail that down. I like that name.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and hey, Tyvix is a good name too. I like that name as well.
Thank you. Okay, well, let's go ahead and wrap up this stream. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
You said you was nervous in the beginning, but I didn't even get any of that. So you have great communication skills already, so be proud of that.
Sweet. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for everybody in the chat that stayed up to this point. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I second that. Okay.
Oh man, but thank you, Tyvik. Thank you for all of this. Like, I'm definitely 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 have direction. I definitely got direction from all this.
Good to hear. I'll be looking forward to hearing back from you. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and definitely gonna binge watch this stream since I'm actually on it.
See how you did. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Kinechiku. Did I say it?
Cool. Yep, you got it. You got it.
So, Kinechiku.
Yep.
It's been great talking to you.
Yep, it's been great talking to you too, man. Have a good night.
All right, you too, my man.
All right.
Freeze Man said 10 minutes a day in front of the mirror. You'll get there in no time. Facts. Okay, my God. That was a super long stream. We're about to come up on 4 hours here. I did not expect it to take this long, but hopefully this was a very informative session. I think I gave out a lot of great information this session, so hopefully you all took a lot of notes. For the people who stayed here the whole time, thank you for supporting me and spending 4 hours with me today, or more than 3 hours with me today. Really appreciate the support and for y'all being here. Now, I'm going to wrap up. I haven't eaten today, so I'm going to go do that. Thank y'all for being here. Love the support. If y'all can, share this video on LinkedIn so that more people can come here and get some knowledge and figure out maybe a direction for, you know, their path in the game industry. Maybe they need this video. So make sure you like the video, drop a comment if you have any questions, subscribe if you have not, and then share. This is great information, and I'm sure a lot of people need it. So once again, thank you all for your support. Thank you all for spending your all Sunday with me and going through these profiles and listening to the no sugarcoat critique. But I need to get off here because I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I've been talking for 4 hours now. So thank you all for being here with me again. Until next time, peace.